Hey everybody, I'm Chuck from Funbearable, and we have a very fun live show coming up for this Halloween.
And we are at Best Video in New Haven, Connecticut right now, shooting some stuff for Halloween, and we don't want to give away some of what we're doing. So here to tell us more information about the live show and how to see it is Brad Rohr.
Thanks, Ray. The show is Sunday, October 20th at Kismet Improv in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Showtime is 7 p.m. Doors are at 6:30. Get more ticket information at funbearablepod.com.
He really is a good little buddy.
The show is sponsored by Chomp Kitchen and Drinks, home of my favorite burger in Rhode Island. See you at the show.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Funbearable, where we all agreed to be in costumes,
I'm the cop.
and only one of us followed through.
I'm undercover.
I think it's hilarious that Brad pushed so hard to do this.
Yeah, me too.
I said, no, we don't need to do that. It's very silly, right? And then I said it's childish, and we all laughed because of the films.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Brad put his foot down, and Brad said, I figure I get one absolute demand a year, and I'm going to use it for this. And then we had to double check when his last demand was.
Well, what was interesting is he's like, okay, guys, the costume's $100. And, me and I didn't even answer.
Yeah.
Then we both got those Venmo requests.
I know.
We were like,
50 each.
Right. I chipped in nothing. All right, my name is Brad Rohr.
I'm Ray Harrington.
And I'm Chucky Staten.
Why isn't Chucky dressed as Chucky?
Oh, because the show's called Funbearable, not absolutely fucking unbearable.
That's true.
You know, if I was dressed as Chucky, you'd get it stabbed first.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you're using that as a euphemism.
No.
You're damn right.
Your little buttons would be much lower on the costume.
Press it.
Oshkosh, but oh no.
We are here at Best Video in Hamden, Connecticut.
You're damn right.
We're back.
We're
Third
back.
time's a charm.
This is the third time we're here. We're here for Halloween, and every year on Halloween, we love doing a franchise flashback episode.
We do one.
Yes.
We all love it equally.
This year we're doing Friday the 13th.
And
It's not.
every year we come back to Hamden, Connecticut to go to Best Video. We love this place. Come check it out if you're on the East Coast. It's a great video store.
Yeah.
Lots of DVDs,
And
Blu-rays, VHS.
That was not a mistake in what he just said. It is an actual video store, an existing video store. And I want to say this before we even get into this. When we arrived, Brad and I, we got here a little earlier than Charles. We were outside, and I saw in 2024 a thing that absolutely filled my heart.
What was that?
3 young girls, stop, Chuck. 3 young girls come out of the video store, get on their bikes, and then they pedal away, and they're having a good time, and they're doing their thing. And I was so happy to see that, because the only time we do see that is in some movie or TV show that's supposed to take place in the 80s.
Yeah, no, I agree completely.
It was awesome.
The only thing that was bad, I saw the movies they had.
Oh, no. What'd they have, Chuck?
ABCs of Death.
Mm-hmm.
What's another one that's terrifying? Kids.
Yeah.
Oh, they had.
They got it, and I heard one girl say, it's definitely for us.
Yep, and then all 3 had a copy of Cannibal Holocaust, which I thought
Cannibal Holocaust?
Yeah, it's
no.
Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah,
redone with Hannibal Lecter as the chief of the tribe.
Disgusting.
These are all jokes for people that know very specific horror movies.
Yeah, and they wouldn't be watching a 9-hour-long retelling of the Chucky story.
They probably don't know that one. They didn't catch it.
Stay tuned, because next year, we've talked about it, we're going to do an entire history of giallo films.
Yes.
So if you like obscure Italian films that have all been dubbed, you're in the right place.
There's always room for giallo.
Yep. That's what Bill Cosby said when he had a stroke.
Yes.
Let's stop bidding and get into the awful thing that we have in front of us.
So here's the deal.
Thank you.
And I haven't talked to Ray about this.
Oh,
But we're going to have to tell him.
Yep.
We're here this year on Funbearable
Get used to it.
because every year we do a franchise flashback. The previous years we've done Halloween and Saw. The reason we're tackling the Child's Play series this year as our franchise flashback is because we want Chucky back on the air. It was canceled recently, and right here, right now, we're standing up for Chucky. We want the show back. Season 4, Don Mancini in the place, and also Brad as part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So we want it back. So we're celebrating Chucky to raise awareness to our legions of fans who will then sign some sort of online petition to talk to Universal.
Along with the NDA.
That's right. To influence Peacock to sign them for another season. And that's why we chose this.
And we're doing it most importantly because if it doesn't come back on the air, Brad's tattoo looks ridiculous.
It does. It says cast member Chucky season 4.
Yeah. He has a scamp stamp.
And it's on the back of his neck.
That's great.
And it's on the back of his neck like it's a tag for clothing.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
says that. Like as if you could pick him off a rack and it would say that.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what franchise flashback is, that is when Brad and myself, we watch an entire series of movies and we find the most ignorant person when it comes to that series, and we fill him in the whole thing. And luckily, every year so far, it's been Ray for Halloween and Saw and Child's Play.
That is true.
We had double luck because Ray confessed to us, I'm afraid of Chucky. I can't watch the movies. Please don't dress up like any dolls. That will trigger my fight or flight.
Yes.
Yeah. Ever since the courtroom when they made me point to one.
Yeah, that's right.
Remember the trial that we had against you, Chuck?
Yes. I was like, I'll just stand there.
Go ahead. Lower.
Point harder. No, so what we do is we watch the movies and we kind of take the whole series and we retell it to Ray, but as one big story.
Yeah, so like if you were, let's say if there was a new Chucky film.
Yes.
Coming out.
Right.
Or a new season of the Chucky universe of some kind. And you were like, oh, I don't know what happened. I just remember he's a little dolly.
Yeah.
And he's mean.
Yep. He's very mean.
He's a mean doll.
Mean.
He's a brat. Like a Bratz doll.
Yes.
And I think they're responsible for more deaths than Chucky.
Yeah.
But I don't have time to sit down and watch
Are you kidding
all
me?
of this. What I do have is time to watch about. I have like 75% of the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That sounds about right.
So it's what we do. This is a good thing for the audience too. It's like if, like Ray said, if you don't remember them or you haven't ever seen them and you'd like to know the story, this is what it's here for, babe. You're gonna get the whole thing, babe.
Babe.
You said
Jesus.
babe twice.
What are you, a producer from the
Well, you said
80s?
it a couple times when we were setting up as well. What's going on?
I think that
You said it to that guy.
Yeah.
You did.
I know.
You
Wow.
said you're leaning into your Dennis.
The Menace.
No, come on, babe.
Yeah.
I've always
Dennis-
one of them. Dennis
Eckersley.
Franz.
No, he did do the desk on SNL, and then
Dennis
he left and he
Miller.
became Miller. Yeah. You're leaning into your. Let's take that one again.
That's also all right.
Listener, viewer, forget you just heard or saw that. Ready? Yeah, you said you're really leaning into your Dennis Miller face.
I lost my glasses.
Well, all right. Take
That's
three.
how. Nope. We're keeping that.
We're so punchy
By the way,
already.
fired from season 4 of Chucky while they're watching this. No, so we get to tell you the whole story once, and I remember this, and it really spoke to me, and it made me feel good about this. If you remember, a lovely married couple wrote into the podcast.
Yes.
And a woman said, my husband loves horror movies. I don't like horror movies. They're scary. And we use franchise flashback as a thing that we can kind of bond over those movies together because you guys tell these scary tales in this fun way, and it's not scary.
Yeah.
And we get to be together and do that. And I think that that's the reason I can convince these guys to do this every year.
Yep.
Well, since it's almost Halloween and we are in a beautiful place, Best Video, I don't think we can thank Best Video enough. We
Yes.
did a little bit, but it really is wonderful.
Yeah.
So if you're on the Eastern Seaboard, come check out Best Video. Just outside of New Haven, Connecticut. It's in Yaleville.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Right? Yeah. And it is really fantastic. And since it's Halloween time, I have
Ooh.
candy corns
That's good.
from 7-Eleven.
Whoa.
7-Eleven branded corn of candy.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. So if anybody wants them, they're here. I'm going to have a couple.
I might have COVID, so pour it into my hand. I won't reach in.
You don't have COVID.
I took a test yesterday, and I don't have it as of yesterday.
You didn't have it as of yesterday.
Yeah, that's right.
Here you go. 17 of them are the serving size suggestion.
17?
Mm-hmm. Too old for you?
This is a lot of candy corn. I'm going to have 6.
I'm okay on the candy corn front.
All right.
For now.
I'll put it here.
For some reason, the only time I ever want candy corn is when we're doing our Halloween episodes.
Yep.
I
think it's because our first Halloween.
That's a good time. That's a good time to have them.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Tell me what happened.
Well,
in Chucky 1, I almost died from a candy corn.
Yeah. Well, that's what they do.
well, let me fill in.
Much slower.
Yes, we have some backfill.
I just want to fill the audience in about this kind of stuff because I love a lot of the big horror series. I find I have a lot of appreciation for them, even the stuff that's not great. Obviously, I think it's well known that a lot of the slasher movies have a lot of schlock in them and stuff like that, including Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare, all that stuff. And I really appreciate that stuff as well as the good stuff because I do think that the interesting thing about these series is that there's some great movies. Like Halloween is a well-regarded movie. But then you have Halloween 6. You know what I mean? That's how it is. And I love that those two things live together. I think it's fun. I think putting them all together in a row to tell the whole story is fun. And I got a new appreciation for Child's Play in this rewatch.
Okay.
So we watched all 8 movies. And on top of that, I listened to 25 hours and 45 minutes of recap podcasts from the Halloweenies, one of my favorite horror movie podcast. They have 25 hours and 40 minutes of recap movies for the series.
So it's already we don't need to do it then. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate you. Reach out at funbearablepod@gmail.com.
They're not comedy. They just kind of I mean, they're fun. They're jovial. They're fun, but they're not straight comedy. It's more about dissecting the movie. Like they'll talk about the soundtrack for an hour.
Okay.
And
that is good.
It's great. So everyone check out Halloweenies. I love those guys. So I listened to 25 hours and 40 minutes of the podcasts. I watched every movie, obviously. I watched Chucky the TV show season 1. And we're not gonna cover the TV show today. We're just doing movies.
Yes.
But by the end of the month, who knows, maybe we'll do a bonus or something like that. And I thought the Chucky TV show was very, very fun and spirited and really respected the lore of the series. And finally...
The lore.
And finally... And to my girlfriend, Natalie, if she's watching this, you can fast forward about 30 seconds. Okay. He knows this is true.
Get to it, because 30 seconds is...
Natalie, she's from Chicago, and she wanted me to go there and meet her family.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, we'll get there. But then I found out that Child's Play took place in Chicago. The Charles Lee Ray, the serial killer... He's from Chicago, and I was like, it'd be great to go to Chicago and get an experience of that place to know the mindset of Charles Lee Ray before he went into the body of Chucky. And so I told Natalie, I'm like, yeah, let's go visit your family,
Yeah.
So that I could go and experience the city from his viewpoint. So whenever she would go to sleep at
night...
So
you were laying on the ground.
I'd slip out into the night. You
were laying on a skateboard going through the city.
Yeah,
to see it from his point of view.
Learning some light voodoo.
Yeah.
And just kind of going around, going to toy stores,
killing people.
Yeah.
Some light, inconsistent voodoo. That's for sure.
So we watched all the movies, listened to over 25 hours of podcasts, and then flew to the city of Chicago and stayed there for a few days to get the idea. So I feel pretty researched.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
All the movies you could pick that take place in Chicago.
Yeah.
Of all the films, you go with Chucky. You're walking around like, wow, the city of Chucky. Yeah. You know what I mean?
How much of it was filmed in Chicago, by the way?
Not much.
Wait.
I'll say they reference it in 2 of the films, and a lot of Jersey and New York stuff after that.
Yeah, all the John Hughes movies are going, we're right over here. Yeah. And you're like, nah. I want the little doll one.
And you know how I got the real perspective? Walked on my knees.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. You were laying on a skateboard.
Oh, laying on a skateboard. I thought it was a toy joke. Not a height joke.
No.
I rescind my height joke.
This is going to be a long 9 hours.
I rescind my height.
It sure is.
Ray had the height slot first.
I, as fans of Franchise Flashback know, I hate these movies. I hate doing Franchise Flashback, and yet here I am, the only one in costume.
As Brad knows, I know that he really likes these movies a lot.
I don't.
And we're gonna uncover that throughout the next several hours.
The only thing that made me go, I'll go through this again. Is Best Video.
Yeah.
Right. After that, though, is the fact that I know Brad doesn't like these movies and had to watch them, and all I kept thinking about was at least he'll be dressed as Chucky, being critical of these films, just being like, it doesn't make sense, and his little hair is all wiggly.
I'll tell you right now, the phrase "for some reason" comes up a lot in my recaps.
That comes up in Chuck's conversations too, only it sounds different. It's for some reason.
Yes.
That is why I've done a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Which makes me worried about who's going to be sitting in this empty seat.
And I will say, Brad thinks, why did this happen? This doesn't make sense. I'm going to explain away
Movie
every
magic.
single thing, and it's going to make perfect sense. You're going to understand finally.
Good.
It takes a little talking.
I look forward to it. Let's.
So we're going to start.
Yes.
We're going to start with Child's Play, 1988. Wow, this was a big one. This was a good one, and we all love it.
1988. Also, isn't the mom from like Seventh Heaven or something?
The mom.
Wow.
Did I get it?
You nailed it. Good
Hell
job.
yeah.
We don't need. Let's skip to movie 2 then.
Let's spoil this a little bit. Acting in the first one, pretty damn good.
From the mom and the detective.
Oh, wait, what about Chuck?
The voice acting for Chucky.
Of course, yeah.
Perfect all the way through.
It's
Yeah, yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
The voice
Yeah.
acting from Brad Dourif for Chucky is incredible.
Yeah, Brad Dourif is like an underappreciated. Well, no, I think in most like niche circles, he's very appreciated, especially horror,
Yeah.
some sci-fi stuff, things like that. But Brad Dourif's great. He's awesome.
He's honestly, I truly believe, I don't know if this series is as impactful if you don't have someone committing to the level that he commits. It's excellent. And
Yeah.
I really noticed it this time.
I just wish that the whole. I really wish that the connection of Seventh Heaven and Chucky was more apparent. Right?
Yes.
Like I think there's it's been memed to death, but the episode of Seventh Heaven where the mom admits that she smoked marijuana one time, and the dad is like, I don't know you anymore. We sleep in the same, well, I would say bed, but we don't. They're twins, and we keep them separate. I sleep in the same room as you, and I don't know you anymore. That was Seventh Heaven.
It was good.
I do like the idea that instead of saying, like, I smoked marijuana once, it was, I was in a Chucky movie.
Yes.
And they just make it like before she met
Right.
the
Yes.
pastor father, she was a horror queen. That'd be great.
I love that.
We open 1988 with a detective, Mike Norris, chasing fugitive serial killer Charles Lee Ray through the streets of Chicago and into a toy store. Charles Lee Ray's partner, Eddie, flees the scene. Charles Lee Ray is shot, no warning shot from that cop, by the detective and falls bleeding. He performs a voodoo chant to transfer his soul into a nearby Good Guy brand talking doll.
See, I was with you.
Hold on.
Like, this is some Lethal Weapon shit.
Yep.
And then suddenly, laying there, he's like,
No.
No?
Brad's missing some facts.
All right,
Brad's play?
So here's what happened.
I gave Chuck a chance to edit these synopses. He chose not to.
I would never criticize you. So anyway, here's what really happened. That guy, he gets shot, and he's like, I think he is like, I gotta find somebody, or something like that. Like,
This is Charles Lee Ray.
he's looking for a human being.
Yeah.
And
He's played Brad Dourif at that
yeah,
moment.
he's Brad Dourif. He's awesome. He's looking for a person, and you don't know why.
Yeah.
But he kind of just falls into the dolls, and he's like dying. And then a guy's like a Hail Mary play. He's like, I don't know what to do. I guess I'm going to try this. And he puts his hand on the doll. So I don't think his plan was just like, I can just put my soul into anything. I think he thought it would have to be a human being, right?
But the very idea that this serial killer would be like, also, I know voodoo that will put my soul into someone else. That requires more information.
All of that will be explained poorly.
Very well,
Got it.
cleverly. And then at the end, we'll talk about some voodoo stuff.
Okay.
At the end of the movie.
Man,
But okay.
This is the curse of being a 6'7" large man, but tall is the key here. I am so embarrassed that my jeans will not go long enough to cover my delicate ankles.
I'm looking at it on the camera.
Yeah. Don't judge me.
It's okay.
I did
like
my
'em.
best.
I like your ankles.
As the soul is transferred into a doll.
Ankles, please.
Can you do the chant? Do you have all the words written down?
No, because
It could happen.
The chant changes.
It gets
movie to
truncated.
movie. There's lightning. Oh, there's an explosion, and the detective find Charles Lee Ray's lifeless body next to the doll. Normal police involved, officer
Totally
involved
fine.
shooting.
Now let's repackage this doll and get it out to the kids.
Well, it's already
These murder dolls.
He's part of a big display of dolls,
Right.
So
it
that
would be like in Best Video, transferring your soul into a DVD.
But I am assuming they're clattered around, right? Or was this on the shelf?
It was on the shelf.
It was on a shelf, and then he kind of
Okay.
He's like in the toy store proper.
Yeah, yeah.
He's not in the back or anything. It's all the big display.
Yeah.
It's the Cabbage Patch kids of that season. It's supposed to be like the hot doll.
Yeah. No,
believe.
I was just picturing like a pile of scattered toys that he collided with. You know what I mean? Or fell into.
He falls into a display and it all falls on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, that means they then took all of those dolls and
Yeah.
put them back up on display.
You just gotta polish off the
Presumably,
blood.
is on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Does this one have blood? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Everything would have been different
Yep.
if they went. We got to throw away these dolls.
Yep.
Well, Chucky, I think, would have ran away because he's possessed by the soul of Charles E. Ray.
So, do you think it was immediate, where he was like immediately in there and he was like, "I better say stock still."
That's a good question.
There's a lot of questions about the human soul throughout this.
So we haven't, I'm presuming, even gotten to like the opening credits yet. Is this the cold open?
I think the credits were running during the chase scene.
Yeah. Okay. So this is like the setup, and I've already asked 2 questions that you're like, that's good question stuff that you.
Yeah, there are
I
questions
will-
that you notice when you watch all 8 movies.
I will say this just to set this up. This movie goes into schlock areas. I think Child's Play #1 from 1988 is a great horror movie, and it's widely regarded as a very good movie.
Sure.
And if you watch it at the time, I think it's probably you feel like, oh, this is a really fun movie.
Yeah.
I don't think this feels like a. I'll put it this way. I think Friday the 13th one, and Brad can kind of speak on this. I think that's like low budget, super campy, does not feel like a real movie, and this feels like it's a real movie.
It does feel like it's a real movie.
Yeah.
No, I'm questioning some
No,
of the
that's a good
logic
question.
there.
I never thought about the idea of him transferring the soul and then when he first comes alive.
Right.
That's an interesting question.
And what if it had been like a Barbie?
Well,
you
this-
know, and
this
then he's
is-
like, oh no.
Well, when he first comes alive is a big part of the story. It has to do with the plot.
okay, all right.
So
Let's trudge along.
We then meet a mom, a widow mom,
Hot.
she is a hot mom.
Karen Barkley.
She's a hom.
She's like the neighbor mom, like the girl next door. She's
She's-
the mom next door.
Oh, she's the mom of the girl.
She's the mom from Seventh Heaven.
Yes.
In my notes. Her 6-year-old son, Andy, wants a good guy doll for his birthday, but she wasn't able to save up enough to afford one. While she's at work, her best friend Maggie informs her that a homeless guy outside has gotten his hands on a good guy doll.
He's a peddler. He's like a seller. He's like that guy in the
Is
alley.
he homeless?
Yes. They keep saying peddler, and I'm like,
He's a peddler.
I'm like, nobody uses that word anymore. Nobody on our podcast
Yeah.
would use that
Although,
to
wouldn't
describe
that
what he
explain
is.
maybe they threw out the dolls that were there?
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
they threw out the dolls that were there, and this guy's selling them like, there's only a little bit of blood. There's
That's
only a
what it
little
is.
blood."
That's what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh, all right.
See, wrapped up.
Maggie and Karen buy the doll. They take the doll home. Andy is psyched. The doll introduces itself to Andy as Chucky.
Like it says, like, "Hi, my name's Chucky."
Yeah.
That.
Yes.
And I will say, and Brad can speak on this. Andy is watching the brand is Good Guy Dolls.
Yeah.
And he's watching a cartoon of Good Guy Dolls, which then transfers over into like, remember how Winnie the Pooh had like big mascot costume Winnie the Pooh sometimes?
Sure.
And it was like a guy in a suit. They create both of these like legitimately for the movie, and they both are super like 1-to-1 quality with the real stuff that they're parodying.
Yeah.
And I think it's great.
Yeah.
It looks really authentic. And when I first watched this, which I believe I was watching it on like USA in the afternoon, I was positive that the Good Guy Dolls were a real brand.
Okay.
And I just, in my head, my child brain, I was just like, why would they let him make this? Why would they do it? And I really thought it was a real movie, like a real
Yeah.
brand of things that was like, yeah, go ahead, make this Killer Doll series. But I just didn't understand.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
All right. That night, Maggie babysits Andy while Karen goes back to work to cover a shift because her cool boss made her work on the night of her son's birthday.
It's a big fight. She's like, please, it's my son's birthday. And he's like, do you like your job?
Yeah.
So she was at work,
She was at work.
went home,
Yep.
but then has to
Had
go
to come back. Yeah.
Someone called out and he's like, you have to come in. And she's like, it's my son's birthday. And he's like, do you like your job?
Yeah. And he's like, well, shouldn't have had your husband die.
That's
the bottom line. He could have watched the kid for you.
That's the Brad character from the movie, is the boss from the department store.
What happened to Papa? What happened to Daddy?
Yeah, did they explain that?
Where's Daddy?
They do not
Where's
explain
Daddy?
it.
Ooh, that means she likes to get down. That's what I'm
No,
thinking.
she's a widow.
Oh, she's a widow?
Yeah.
You said widow.
Where'd you get that from?
The movie,
The
I'm
movie,
assuming.
yeah.
Who said it?
Her, probably?
I think there's a shot somewhere of like him and his dad, right?
Oh, I don't know. That's what I was wondering.
She's a widow.
Men, you got to stick around.
I thought she liked just getting some random...
That night, Maggie babysits Andy while Karen goes back to work. Chucky comes to life, introducing himself to Andy, and attacks Maggie, striking her in the back of the legs with a hammer and somehow causing her to fall out the window.
I believe that the way you're explaining it, in the movie it's ambiguous. You don't see Chucky come to life and do it. This is the Jaws situation.
Yeah, it's like a low POV.
Yes.
Could it be Andy? Could it be the doll?
Could it be Andy? Could it be the doll?
Sure.
And I do. They don't. In the other movies, we all know Chucky now is like talking and being around.
Yeah.
In this movie,
That's
doesn't.
new.
That
Right.
basically is hidden.
Although, if you're going to go with the, is it the boy or is it the doll? And then the reveal of, oh my God, it was the doll, right? Isn't that the movie that you saw that you told us about that it sounded very generic and bad, Imaginary?
No, it's not. That's not.
Okay.
It's in a lot of stuff though.
Yeah, of course. But don't have the scene of the
voodoo-cursed?
killer getting dying and going voodoo, da da da.
That could be a coincidence.
It could be that the movie chose to show it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Chekhov's
So
voodoo.
I feel like you'd immediately be like, so it's the doll, right? It's definitely the doll.
When I watched it this
No.
last time I watched it, I was like, this time I bet it's Andy.
They should have, they should have had it be more of a question, right?
Yeah.
And then that way you can have a really fun moment where you could have like occasionally in the background people talking like, you hear what happened at KB Toys last night? Just a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
You hear about KB? Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
You hear
Yeah.
about KB Toys?
Well, that actually does happen.
Oh, okay. At KB Toys?
Yeah, I think so. Oh no,
And that's why they went out
Toyland.
of business, because they let too many serial killers in their store.
I said, whenever they start doing that voodoo chant, ask them to leave politely.
Yes.
It's in the handbook.
Don't let them touch the Tonkas.
Yep. Karen, the mom, returns home to the crime scene where
That's what I call boobs, by the way. Tonkas.
where the detective is Norris, the guy from earlier. Wow.
Give me the power, I beg of you. Sorry.
It's all right.
A sentient tit.
Oh,
How I feel right
I'll
now.
risk it.
what did Chuck put his soul into?
Oh, that's beautiful, because then both of you could embody a full set, and then you'd always be next to each other like you belong.
You could still dress him as Chucky as a tit.
I'd be the one that's slightly larger.
You'd be the one that gets cancer. That's not good. That's not good.
I'll
I don't
take
like
it.
that. I don't like
Craig, strike him down.
Craig, by that he means cut it.
No, keep it, Craig. Strike him down.
We're still in the setup.
The detective believes Andy may have been involved in Maggie's death. There are child-sized footprints in the spilled flour. Andy tries to claim that
And
Chucky...
there's no semen anywhere. I'm only picturing, is it Riggs or Murtaugh? Murtaugh, right?
Yeah.
Because he goes, Riggs. I'm only picturing him for this.
It is not. It is one in a long line of generically handsome, dark-haired men. That is a staple for the
The
franchise.
story of his life.
Yeah, there you go.
There, a lot of things wrong with that description. I will note, despite the fact that the police are clearly still working at the crime scene, Karen asks them to leave, and they just leave.
All right.
White privilege. It is shoddy police work. Andy later tells his mother that Chucky the doll told Andy his real name was Charles Lee Ray, the name of the killer from earlier.
Oh, my God. So now at this point, no one is thinking, maybe the kid's crazy.
Right.
Well, right now, so the mom...
That could have been really fun.
Yeah, well, the mom doesn't know about Charles Lee Ray yet.
The mom doesn't, but I'm saying like
Right.
the audience.
The audience.
The
Oh,
audience
yes, of
knows
course,
that this
yeah.
is the doll.
well,
yeah, for
we're
sure.
on the fence.
Did you see the
We're off
deleted
the
scene
fence.
that from the beginning?
Nope.
When Charles Lee Ray is dying and he reaches and he grabs one doll box and he looks at it and it's one of the African American dolls and he goes, no. And then he goes,
Yeah.
No.
Charles Lee
Hold
Ray.
on, grab other ethnicities.
And then he grabs. You know what? I don't know if they make them.
You know,
We
on,
need
do
to
it.
we need
What
to
would he say?
diversify these dolls.
Ray, what would he say? Chinese.
He goes. No, like that. It's every one of them is no, like that.
You're terrible.
Not me, Charles Lee Ray.
the serial killer,
Yeah,
bad guy,
thank you.
also racist. Yeah. The next day, Chucky convinces Andy to skip school and take a train by himself to a questionable part of town. Chucky then sneaks into an abandoned home where Charles Lee Ray's old partner Eddie is hiding out and kills him via gas explosion, as one does. Andy is discovered.
You hear that little noise. It's like little plastic feet and a giggle.
Yep.
Right. That's gas is coming.
that sound is in it a lot.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
My memory of this. I probably should have said this at the beginning. I never saw Child's Play
You were
as a
fortunate.
child.
It's excellent.
However, my mom told me what Chucky was and used that when I wouldn't go to bed.
Oh,
And she would scare me.
Really?
She's like, if you stay up, I'm going to tell you a scary story. And she did this with multiple things. Should have done it. Kind of scarred me a little bit. You know what I mean?
That's fun.
Hey, parents, what are you going to do?
You know what? That's great. And I would like to say this.
Yeah.
I think Chucky also emotionally scarred me because people know, I've talked about it, I have a fear of animatronics.
Yeah.
It started out as a fear of dolls,
Yes.
of living dolls. And the first thing I ever saw that scared the fuck out of me in that direction was Child's Play on USA. I used to play all three of them all the time. And then it was Are You Afraid of the Dark? At one point in the beginning, they pan across
The dummy?
an attic and there's a dummy, and I always close my eyes. And I
Yeah.
always thought, like, if I do see it, the devil will take me.
Yeah.
But he never did. And he
well,
might have.
But my mom
He
used
almost
to,
certainly did.
used to do like
No.
that. And she would sometimes take her nails and do it on the wall to just like make the sound.
Oh,
And,
that's fun.
Yeah, no, she did. And now I wonder why I have like insomnia issues, right?
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, I like your mom. That's funny.
Yeah.
It's very fun.
It's a fun time.
Yeah. But yeah, so
So there is tick 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 on that.
Yeah.
so it scarred both of us.
Great.
In some ways.
Andy is discovered near the scene of the crime, this gas explosion, and is again, at the age of 6, considered a suspect in this well-planned and well-executed murder. He is sent to a psych ward for observation.
Great. Perfect.
Karen returns home with Chucky, finds the unused batteries.
How did she get home with the dog? Oh,
She went to the crime
there,
scene, yeah.
and they were like,
we're
"Hey,
going to
can't-
commit your kid."
Yeah.
She's like, "All right, I'm going to take his
Don't
doll
give
and
him
go
his
home."
comfort." Yeah, that's like having a teddy bear, and they're like, "We got to take
Yeah.
that."
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
She takes.
Sorry.
Yes, of course.
So she's like, I can't believe my son. You know, she's flipping out. She's like, I can't. My son's a bad guy. He doesn't have a dad. That's the only guy I have in my life. And she's like, and also everyone is also so mad at him because he's like, it's Chucky. And everyone's
Yeah.
like, you idiot. They're slapping. They don't really slap him, but you know what I mean. Emotional.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. And so she goes like, crazy kid, thinks it's Chucky. And then she picks up the Chucky box and it's been talking this whole time. Hi, I'm Chucky. And it's like, want to play? We're friends to the end. It says stuff like that.
Yeah.
She picks up the box and the batteries fall out.
Gotcha. Nice. Beautiful.
And she goes,
Good moment.
isn't that great?
Yeah.
And she goes, well, she hasn't checked the batteries yet, does she?
Yeah, she checks his back and it's empty.
So she checks his back and it's empty. This is where she drops him?
Yeah.
Wow.
I like to think if Charles Staten was bleeding out and reached for something to do this, it would be a vibrator, and there would be a moment when the woman looked and then the batteries fell out of the box.
Yeah.
And
That's
she was
funny.
like, "What?"
That's a good parody.
She's like, this thing only works like a minute and a half at a time.
And then it goes,
Yeah. this vibrator sucks.
Why is it next to my son's Ninja Turtles toys?
I clearly bought average size. This thing's tiny.
The battery case.
Trevor.
What?
The battery
huge.
case is empty. Chucky is alive and violent. Chucky attacks the mom before escaping. She goes to Detective Norris, but shockingly, he does not believe her story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this the part where he says, you filthy slut, you stupid bitch? Is that the part?
Where Chucky says it?
Jesus.
Yeah.
He's really...
Oh, I know the scene. Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
profane.
Yeah.
He says those two things.
Yeah.
I think filthy slut...
But in a mean way.
Filthy
Yes.
slut is such a weird thing to call her in that moment.
Yes.
Well, I think he's just being
he's just being a killer.
shitty misogynistic.
He's a killer. He's a bad guy.
Yeah.
That's you're probably right.
Even though it says good guy on his shirt.
Yep. Karen finds the homeless guy and asks for more information. Where did you get the
Thank
doll?
God he's so easy to locate.
Is it? Oh, there was several seconds of on-screen searching.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, this isn't the filthy part.
Rather than answer, the homeless guy gets gross and wants to bang her, and maybe kind of starts to put the moves on her.
Like 7 homeless guys essentially like back her into a corner, like we're gonna gang.
That's where they got the name Seventh Heaven.
Yes.
They were
The detective.
You should get canceled for this episode.
You say 7. She's in Seventh Heaven. What am I supposed to do? This is entrapment.
I was trying to move on. Detective Norris shows up. Detective Norris shows up and forces the homeless guy to admit that he stole the doll from the destroyed toy store where Norris killed Charles Lee Ray.
Okay.
Detective Norris is still skeptical of this whole situation until he is attacked by Chucky. He shoots Chucky, and blood pours out.
Hell yes.
You didn't skip the voodoo part, right?
Chucky escapes to his former voodoo instructor.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Why do I not remember any of this? Because usually we talk about what I do know of the franchise, right?
I will say
I saw this movie, but ages and ages and ages
the
ago.
The voodoo instructor part, it feels
instructor.
Well, it feels a little bit
phrase.
like disconnected from the rest of the movie. Would you say
Yes.
in terms of scenery?
Yes.
So he's in a different part of town.
Yeah.
You know.
How did he get there? Not explained.
Little voodoo town.
Yeah.
Well, he can get there, but
Little voodoo town.
I think he got on the train.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
I guess he walks under the turnstile.
Did he have like a little voodoo diploma on the back wall?
He has a lot of voodoo shit in his house.
Well, of course, right?
Now,
of course. Can I ask?
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Yeah.
The actor.
Mm-hmm.
Demographically, what are we talking about?
Charles E. Ray would not have put his soul in the body of
Okay,
a doll.
that's what I thought. Isn't that kind of
Yep.
inappropriate?
I
don't know about a voodoo man.
I think if you're looking at statistics of voodoo practitioners.
Yeah. I know. It's just weird. It especially where it's voodoo in Chicago.
Yeah. Well, what's weird is that the character hadn't been mentioned or alluded to before. They were just like.
Yeah. I got to go to my old
But Ray's
voodoo instructor.
natural curiosity was like, I want to know more about this voodoo. He said that right at the beginning.
Yes, he did.
Incredulously, though.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Full of incredulity. It's a word I learned recently. Voodoo John informs Chucky
Voodoo John.
that the longer his soul remains in the doll, the more human the doll will become.
He's like, I'm a fucking doll, but I'm bleeding. Explain this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
John refuses to help and is subsequently tortured by Chucky with a voodoo doll of his own.
Chucky made a voodoo doll of the voodoo man.
Yep. John tells Chucky that in order...
I fucking completely forgot voodoo plays a large role in this. It's insane.
I can't tell you how hard I'm going to fight for this voodoo thing after this description.
John tells Chucky that in order to escape the doll's body, he must transfer his soul to the first human he revealed his true identity to, a.k.a. Andy. He's a child. He's helpless. We should identify with him and root for him.
This is insane.
I don't...
This is insane. What a rule.
Do you think of yourself as a helpless child?
I did when I was 6.
That's not the demographic.
It's as an audience, you want to root against Chucky.
Of course.
It's
You're
just so crazy, though, that, like, what a weird rule in voodoo.
Yes,
where it's
what
like,
a
well, once you
convenient rule.
reveal
Yeah.
your secret identity.
Oh, sorry, it's not the traditional voodoo rules, Ray.
Yeah.
Like what?
We all know them.
Witch doctor?
Throwing bones on the floor. Right?
Yeah.
Taking a little thing and poking it with a needle.
Mm-hmm.
What, did they go to the witch doctor to say, I'm in love with this person, and they give him a whole thing to say?
And then they they make spells and stuff.
Yeah.
It's witchies.
Okay.
But that is a weird rule, you have to admit. Like, wait, hold on.
I think that...
The ethereal beings above us of voodoo are like, only if that's the first person you reveal it to.
I would say this. In terms of movie writing, if you're like, let's think of a plot, blah, blah, and it's like the voodoo rule is like the first person I guess it is kind of strange.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just because
what if
also,
you do it in an auditorium full of people?
Yep.
Just because I mean, this is like a gremlin rule. I think it's a little weird just because he didn't even think it would work. At some point, I don't know when he says it, he's like, I didn't even think it would work to put my soul into this this doll's body.
I was going to an instructor for a while, but I was still not sure.
Yeah. So if he thought that and he thought he could only do it to humans, then why would there be a rule that if you're in a doll's body, whoever you reveal yourself first to? Although I guess we're not going to get into voodoo. Keep going.
All I know is that the voodoo instructor is very good with potentials. There's a lot of amendments. There's a lot of subcategories here. Like, oh, so you were transferred into a doll. Great. Okay, so we get here.
Yeah, and this was pre-internet because with internet you can hyperlink. You click on
he's
doll,
flipping
you go to
through
those
the
rules.
voodoo book, and he's like, oh.
Okay.
If only you would, I'm on the D's, if only you would put yourself in a dog's body. This would be very easy. You just bite them and then it's over.
One more page. Dog and doll.
Dog, doll. Ugh.
Here's what I'll buy. If you transfer your soul into an inanimate object and then you reveal that you're a live human being with your soul in the body of the object, then you can only transfer your soul into that human. I buy that. That makes perfect sense. Sounds great. And that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, all right, I have another rule. Chucky leaves as Karen and Detective Norris arrive and find Voodoo John bleeding to death. Before dying, John tells them that in order to kill Chucky, they must destroy his heart. So that's it. That's what we have to do. We have to destroy Chucky's heart, the living doll.
And also, I guess the other rule is just that the longer you stay in the doll's body, the more human you become.
Yeah.
And at some point, you can never transfer out.
Yes.
That's another part of it.
So he'll be stuck as a
doll. And he's like
not a doll because he'll be more human. He'll be a little person. Do you think that means he'll become fully like human skin, a penis, whatnot?
It is.
He does have
unclear.
a penis in this.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, he has to have sex.
Has to?
Yeah. Well,
Seed of Chucky.
For the plot. Yeah.
Let me look through the voodoo book here.
Chucky arrives at
He even holds a whole glass of his own jizz. Remember that?
Yes. Chucky arrives at the
He
psychiatric...
presents it to Redman.
Stop interrupting.
Chucky arrives at the psychiatric hospital where Andy is being kept. We can talk about the jizz when we talk about the jizz.
And it's Lil Crazies, is that what it's called at the Children's Psychiatric Unit?
Yes, there is.
Lil Crazy.
Crazies.
There is no word on how
Cuckoo
Chucky...
Juniors?
There's no word on how Chucky managed Chicago's mass transit system. He kills Andy's terrible doctor with an electroshock thing, whatever.
Okay.
Andy leaves the psychiatric hospital, flees home. I will stress he is 6 years old and more mature than Kevin McAllister. Oh no.
That's a low blow. Shots fired.
Yep. Chucky
Craig
knocks Andy out.
Okay.
As Chucky prepares to possess Andy with a conveniently lengthy ritual,
Oh, God.
the mom, Karen, and Detective Norris arrive. Chucky wounds the detective, but Karen and Andy are able to trap Chucky in the fireplace behind the flue, the grate, and ignite the gas jets, melting this lump of flesh and plastic.
And she is like already...
Phew!
She's already threatened to throw him in there, and that's when he said, "You bitch, you filthy slut." That's when he did
Yeah.
the whole part I was saying. And when he throws him in there, it's pretty good because he pretends to be the doll again to Andy. He goes, "No, Andy, I thought we were friends to the end." And he goes, "This is the end, friend." The kid is pretty good.
Yeah.
For a
Okay.
6-year-old actor, I think
Yeah.
he's pretty great
Sure,
in
yeah,
this.
yeah.
And he turns it up, and he goes, and he's like flipping out. I will.
Yeah.
The screaming of Chucky in these movies,
Makes you jizz?
it is scary.
Yeah.
Do you think that?
Yeah.
It's pretty effective.
this part is scary. Chucky not dead despite being in a cool scene, a horribly burned Chucky attacks again. So he's like melted and gross and
the best
really well done. Yeah.
very well done. The best shot I'd say in the entire series is him when he's burned and he's stalking.
Yeah.
And there's like a low shot of him coming after Andy. And I don't know how they did it. It must have been a little person in a costume.
Yeah.
But it's like the scariest shot in the
What
whole
if it's
series.
a regular sized person in a big set?
Yeah.
Well, I will say this. For that set,
Yep.
they built the set 30% bigger to have a little person in it to make him look even smaller.
There you go.
It was good stuff.
Yeah.
Karen shoots his head and chops several of his limbs off, appearing to kill him. Detective Norris's worthless partner arrives, refusing to believe the trio until Chucky's body bursts through a heat vent and attacks again. Detective Norris shoots Chucky's body through the heart, finally killing him. They leave to take Detective Norris to the hospital, and Andy sadly looks back at the final remains of Chucky. So ends part 1.
I thought this movie, watching it now,
Yeah.
it's great. It's excellent.
Sure.
I think that It's funny because
I saw your notes from recording, and you just wrote in big letters, and it was all scratched weird, and some of the letters were backwards.
Yeah.
And it just says, needs more voodoo?
Yes.
I think that, you look at all these like Texas Chainsaw, all the slashers. I think this probably sits pretty high on the list of quality and like real filmmakers trying to make a really good project.
Yeah, sure.
Like I really like the way that they created Chucky and shot a combination of animatronics, small people in costumes.
Yeah, it's great, and it's one of those movies where as soon as as an adult, you think about that, and immediately you're like, oh yes, of course. Why haven't we done this before?
Right.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
They did a couple things too. When she drops it, it's supposed to roll under a couch, and the way they did it was they built the whole set slanted, or the whole that part that was going to be in the shot, and so she dropped it, so it perfectly did that.
Yeah.
Making the set bigger is cool, and then even going as far as
And
Brad
she had
Dourif.
huge hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
The actress
That was
had massive.
lucky.
She had mitts.
Yeah, mitts. Yeah,
Yeah.
But then of course Brad Dourif is like, I'm just going to commit to this harder than anyone's ever
Oh, yeah,
voiced
absolutely.
anything, and it's so effective, and it makes him very scary.
I have a fun tidbit too. It was originally going to be a different voice. James Earl Jones. He was.
That
gonna
would be
do it.
weird.
Yeah.
I believe the original title was Batteries Not Included.
Right.
That was another movie.
Yes,
It was.
About like
Steven
alien
Spielberg.
little machines.
Yeah. I think Steven Spielberg owns the rights to Batteries Not Included, the title.
Oh, okay. Wasn't it little alien machines that come down and they
think so.
help like a bunch of people living in an apartment building that's about to be condemned or something?
Something like that.
Very strange.
Perhaps.
No voodoo. Voodoo free.
And here's what I'll say about the
use
voodoo. This is my
These are your voos on the voodoo?
This is my voodoo. I believe that the idea of them saying, okay, we're going to actually have a reason that he transfers his soul into a doll. I think that that's better than being like, Freddy Krueger is an undead guy.
Yeah.
Michael Myers is unkillable. Jason Voorhees
I
is just
agree.
a thing.
I agree, especially because you need the thing of like, it's this evil doll thing, and you have to have that thing of like, he wants the body of the boy.
Yes.
Not to kill him,
Right.
but to become him. I understand that.
Yeah.
But voodoo is an odd one, especially
It
where
is.
it's like, you could also make it where his last victim was a voodoo priest.
Right.
Sure.
And put this curse on him. And now
Right.
he's cursed with this and then comes back to him. He gets blown away before he kills the last victim.
Yeah.
And and dies and he gets transferred into the doll.
Yeah.
And so as the doll goes back to the victim and says like, what the hell, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
that I would buy that over this serial killer happened to have a voodoo instructor.
Yes.
I totally get that.
Like he grabs his yoga mat and he's like, I gotta go to voodoo again.
No, I totally buy that, but I
Yeah.
think that changing this into like, we're going to make voodoo an element of this series is just like a fun thing that seems out there.
Sure.
That I think kind of just opens up the possibility for the future, and boy oh boy do they take advantage of that.
Okay.
So I enjoyed it.
I did not enjoy it. Again, well shot, well done, but
Well, you were against it for religious reasons because of the voodoo.
right. A lot of gaps in the writing.
Really?
Especially, like how's he getting around the scene? The serial killer.
Yeah,
working.
he had a little car.
The idea of he is a serial killer and then he's transferred into a doll and then he's so violent so fast. Like, I gotta think that serial killers aren't killing 24/7. I gotta think they need some downtime.
I don't know.
This
If you're in
guy
a little doll-
was just killing for
think
no reason.
if you're-
I'll say this:
Yeah.
he could have been nice to Andy, gotten a ride to the voodoo thing, and gotten his. But no, he was mean. He was mean to
Yeah.
everyone.
I thought
So
he was pretty nice to Andy for most of
he
it.
was pretty nice to Andy, but why did he kill Maggie? No reason.
Yeah.
Just wanted to kill. Then, killing your old partner. Oh, believe me, I get that. But then, why kill the voodoo guy?
Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
wouldn't help him or something.
But he knows what to do. He's like,
Yeah.
So
I will say
He's
though,
an addict.
in any of the movies with killers, they do just kill.
Of course,
I know.
yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
that doesn't really fall outside the.
also the physics of the human body articulated in certain ways so that we can use the tools we've developed. We can use force. We can use force with a hammer with our wrist, right?
Sure.
Chucky doesn't have most of those joints. He's a lump
if
of
we're gonna go
plastic.
this
Yes,
far.
we are, because it doesn't make sense.
I think
He's also full of blood.
I'm gonna make a stance, and Brad, please don't hit me. I think Brad
Again.
doesn't want to like these movies.
I don't, and I don't.
but I think you would if you did.
This is why I wanted this to happen, is you dressed as Chucky going, it's just the physics. The physics alone.
Physics.
The movie's great, and he loves them. Let's move on.
Let's move on to Child's Play 2, 1990.
You got to change the DVD.
Ooh, I can use one of my VHSs.
Well, 2 is right behind it. Here, just for safety's sake, hand me the candy corn.
The candy corn's going down.
Careful my COVID.
I don't like that you keep saying that because you gave me COVID last time you had COVID.
I always give everyone COVID.
Yeah, you do. You're the Chucky of flu virus.
My joints.
Child's Play 2.
I have no wrists.
1990. It doesn't make any sense. If you watch it, it's even shot poorly.
No, it's not. You just said it was shot well.
Chucky's
you fucking fucker.
violence is shot poorly, where he's like, I'm going to spin around 3 times with a golf club.
What?
If like 3-year-old Finn spins around 3 times and hits you with a golf club, is that going to take you down? No, it's going to be annoying.
We don't know how voodoo works. He might have his muscle mass.
That's true. He's
You got me there.
Have you seen
Some
it, man?
say Chucky had the strength of 4 Chuckies.
Child's Play 2, 1990. 2 years after
Like the Hulk doesn't make sense. Shut up. Like I think you like Avengers.
Not anymore.
No, not since they added Chucky.
Yes.
His
2 years.
redemption arc is insane.
2 years after the death of
You
Chucky,
can watch the show.
the Play Pals Corporation, the company that makes the good guy dolls,
Yep.
is attempting to recover from the negative publicity surrounding the whole multiple murder thing. To reassure its stockholders that there was nothing actually wrong with the doll, and it would be insane to think that a doll could come to life and murder people, they acquire Chucky's remains and reassemble him.
That's what I would do.
This
Why?
is clearly the
To
best
prove
example.
to you, the greedy stockholder, that it's not the doll. The doll's fine. He didn't do anything. That's what I think if I'm the owner. Of course, it's not true.
All right.
During the process, a power surge fatally electrocutes one of the assembly line workers,
Yeah.
and Chucky is reanimated.
Well, hold on. Frankenstein.
Yep.
I mean, whatever at this point.
Well, here's what I
Yeah,
think.
you say whatever, and we are 13% into these movies.
Hey, you know what, though? This is refreshing. Finally, for once, we can be honest and say that capitalism is the real enemy here.
Yeah.
Well, I will
Corporate
say.
greed created a monster.
So I actually think this plot point is actually fairly solid, but they're not selling him again.
Yeah.
They're basically like all these articles came out that are
The
like,
evidence that the actual evil
Right.
one is over here.
yeah. So basically they're just like, we're going to
Yeah.
prove that there's nothing wrong with this doll. None of our workers tampered with it. So we got the doll from the murders. It was a crazy kid. They're trying to be like,
Yeah.
because
They're proving that it was a child.
Well,
That's
they're just
what they
saying
want to do.
they're. I think it's closer to like we don't think a doll is alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not really
Right.
blaming it on Andy, but they're like our company is tanking, our stock is tanking because
Right.
of this thing. So we're gonna get the doll and make sure nothing's wrong with
Once
it.
again, fat cats.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. I think if they put it back for sale, that would be jumping the shark for me.
Well, yeah, of course.
But just cleaning it up and making sure there's nothing wrong with it does
Yeah.
make sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Mr. Sullivan, the CEO of the company, orders his assistant to dispose of the doll. Mr. Sullivan does not show any sadness about the death of the worker on his assembly line.
Of course.
Cut to Andy Barkley, now 8 years old. He's been in foster
times are changing.
care since his mother was institutionalized off camera
Oh, no.
for talking about the living doll. You know, the one the public believes in so little that the company just reassembled it to prove it wasn't alive.
Yeah, the stock's all tanking, but also this lady's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it's basically like people are just like, I'm just staying away from that. I don't know what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
I think
That's
is
the
more
other
like-
thing is like either way you cut it, bad press. Even if Charles Lee Ray never died
Yeah.
and used a Chucky doll to kill people with,
Yep.
Yes.
like he just smashed them in the face with it and they were killed. Their stock's going down.
Yep.
Because it's a bad look.
Exactly.
That's
exactly. Can I point out one plot hole that Brad might have missed?
Please.
In the first movie,
In this?
the first movie, Andy is like a 6-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And he's like, the doll told me he's possessed by the soul of Charles Lee Ray. And the mom's like, oh, that's weird. And then the policeman's like, yeah, so I killed this murderer, Charles Lee Ray, last week at a toy factory. And she's like, Charles Lee Ray, he's a murderer. Oh, my son told me about him. And that's literally like how it goes.
Yeah.
She doesn't put the two together.
Yeah. Only now it would be that, the kid had a cell phone, right?
Yes.
And the kid is telling her all about the murders.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Just listen to the podcast, Mom.
Franchise Flashback.
Andy is brought in by foster parents Phil and Joanne. Phil is
I don't
nervous.
trust him.
Well, Phil is nervous about taking care of a kid who is tied to such terrible events. Andy later meets Kyle, an early 90s cool, street-smart teenage girl being fostered by the same family.
I like the cut of her jib.
She's
Kyle?
cool.
Kyle?
Kyle
She's cool.
the girl?
Yep.
There's a lot of girls with boy names in the 90s.
Well, yes, but Kyle?
Joe, I think, was one.
Yes, but Kyle?
Yep.
Yes.
I've never heard of a woman named Kyle. Sorry if there are any Lady Kyles out there listening or viewing this. I apologize.
Blossom had a friend named Six.
That's true. That's a number.
That's a fictional character. The assistant.
So is this.
The assistant did
I knew a
not
girl named Ray.
throw away
I do
Chucky at the office. He's taking it to sell to creepy collectors or something. You won't believe it. Chucky comes to life and threatens him, then uses a 1990 car phone to call the foster care lady and get Andy's whereabouts. Illegal even then,
How did he know the number?
before suffocating the assistant with a plastic bag.
How did he know the number?
Is this where Chucky and
Unclear.
Tommy are happening a thing?
Yeah, I think so.
So basically, there's two good guy dolls.
Yeah,
and-
that's the next paragraph.
Oh, okay.
So, if you call the foster care system, they'll just tell you where a kid is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got any kids that were involved with like a weird
I-
doll murder?
In
Yeah.
1990, they might have told you.
I think the assistant knew that Andy had been put in foster
it.
care.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
he tortured him before he murdered him with the
Chucky
plastic
looked at a newspaper and the front page said, "Small child sent to foster care."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
bag. Chucky infiltrates the foster home and takes the place of a different good guy doll named Tommy, which he buries in the backyard for some reason.
Hold up.
Yep.
At
The foster
the
home.
foster home
Yep.
where our
Andy's going.
where Andy is.
Yep.
Why
Because
would they have?
It's like a Cabbage Patch Kid. They were like ubiquitous.
I know, but you would think, hey, this kid was involved in this thing
Yes.
where
that's
one of these
correct.
came to life and killed everybody. That's what he thinks.
Yep.
Let's keep one in the house.
It was a small oversight.
So the movie can happen.
That's insane. Oh, sorry. Frog in my throat. It's so strange. A small boy did a chant over me.
Yep.
And now I have a frog in my throat. No, that's crazy though, right?
Yes.
That
Oh,
is
yeah.
crazy where
You know,
it's like,
it's-
we'll keep it in the house
Yeah.
just in case he wants
The
it.
idea that they have one is not crazy, but the idea that they know he's tied to the murders and continue to have it and don't check.
If that
is
kid's
very
coming over your
strange.
house, you would look around and go, "Oh, we should probably get rid of that."
Yeah, I
we
think
should probably
so.
get rid of that.
Yeah, I
Hey,
think so.
the little boy that was part of the Care Bear killers,
Yeah.
he's coming over.
Yeah.
Should we have all these Care Bears here?
yeah,
You know?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Andy becomes friends with Kyle, his older sister, after the two are unfairly punished for an heirloom that Chucky destroyed.
Oh, not the heirloom.
That night,
Tomato.
Chucky reveals himself to Andy, but Kyle enters the room before he can complete the lengthy voodoo chant to possess him.
Oh God.
Kyle doesn't believe Andy's claim that Chucky is alive. Phil and Joanne barge into the room. They get mad at the noise. Phil throws Chucky into the basement in frustration. Chucky realizes his body is becoming human again.
It hurts his face.
Where does Chucky's soul reside? In the rubber and plastic skin? We never learn. The next day, Chucky secretly follows Andy to school and messes up his homework. The worst thing Chucky did in all the movies.
It's funny because the teacher's looking through all the homework,
Yep.
and then the teacher pulls the hand and just says, "Fuck you, bitch." That's huge.
For real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is.
This is just, it's ridiculous. It's because, like, also, I'm sneaking around. I'm going to get this kid, but I just got to fuck with this homework.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I think
it's
that-
him doing it, and he goes, sometimes I crack myself up.
Do you find his level of profanity all the time hilarious?
Kind of, yeah.
No, yeah,
It's
yeah,
so
yeah.
good.
No,
It's great.
Yeah, that's
It's
fantastic.
It's perfectly
Yeah.
played. There's a part in I think the first one, and it's not important. That's why it wasn't in the recap, where he's on an elevator just sitting there like a doll, and a couple gets on and they look at him and they get off and they went, ugh, so ugly. And it starts going up and you hear him go, fuck you. And it's so good.
No,
It's
that's
so
fine.
funny.
I think having him be like filthy is key. I think you
I
have
think
to
it
have
is.
that because it's a
I
little
think it
doll.
is.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Andy is assigned detention. Chucky then kills Andy's teacher by luring her into a supply closet, stabbing her with an air pump, and then beating her with a yardstick. That's enough to kill her. Physics. Andy manages to escape the locked classroom and goes home. He tries to warn his foster parents about Chucky, but Papa Phil refuses to believe Andy and considers returning him to the foster center.
Wow.
Great.
Wow.
That
I told
night-
you I didn't trust this guy.
That night, Andy sneaks into the basement to confront Chucky, but the doll overpowers him. When Phil arrives to investigate, Chucky trips him, causing him to fall down the stairs and break his neck.
Mm-hmm.
So now Ray is happy that the dad he trusted, or he didn't trust, is dead. Joanne blames Andy for Phil's death and sends Andy back to the foster center. Kyle...
Hi, this murder boy, he did it again.
Yep.
You expressly
You said
guaranteed he would no
not.
longer be
Yep.
a murder boy. And here he is, my husband's dead.
Yep. Murdered. Kyle discovers Tommy buried outside and realizes Andy was telling the truth.
It's a great moment. It's very similar to the batteries moment.
Yeah.
Where she's like, wait, what? And she has just thrown Chucky in the trash. And she goes and she digs up the thing and she looks over the trash. It's great.
Yeah.
Very well executed.
She
For a
ru-
second, I thought it was that little foster boy we killed and buried back here.
The last one.
She rushes to warn Joanne, only to discover that Chucky has already killed her. Welp. Chucky ambushes Kyle and forces her to drive him to the foster center.
How old is she?
Probably
Drivable age?
Yeah.
19,
Okay.
18,
18, she's out. 19, she's out.
17.
17.
And a half.
Okay.
And 364 days.
Oh, I don't like what you're doing.
Chucky stabs the foster care worker to death and captures Andy. Kyle pursues them through the streets and to the nearby Play Pals factory.
Well, there's a funny part where she.
How convenient that it's right there.
Well, she's driving and a policeman pulls her over.
Yeah.
And it's a really funny scene where he's like, just the way he talks to people is hilarious.
Sure.
There's an earlier part where he's in someone's car. I believe it's in this one.
The assistant, yeah.
And he goes, park this piece of shit. And it's just it's always like
Yeah,
that.
it's fun.
And he's like that at this part, and it's really
Yeah.
funny.
And the cop pulls him over and he's like, hey, cat, motherfucker, oink, oink, oink. And he's doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, he says, like, it's funny because the cop goes, like, good guy dolls, what's your name? And like they have a voice. And before this, he's always done the voice, and he goes like this, Chucky. And he does it in Brad Dourif's
Yeah, that's
voice.
fun. That's
it was
fun.
great. It was very fun.
The idea that this factory is just there is laughable.
Yes.
But okay, fine, whatever.
Well, I was in Chicago, and I
was
randomly pulled over.
Yeah.
I looked, and I went right there.
Let me see here. No, that's a brake pads factory that a heavy set fella owns.
You get a good look at a
And
cow.
then over here, I think it's a real estate office, Mrs. Bueller or something like that.
Yeah.
You're like, where's the Chucky factory? Somebody's like, this is a Buca de Beppo.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
It's in the elevator going up to the top of Willis Tower. And it's like, hey, do you think we can see the Chucky factory from up here? Natalie's like, oh my god.
So fun.
Kyle,
Sir, this is a Buca de Beppo. I'm sorry, I like that.
Kyle is unable to find them before Chucky knocks Andy unconscious and completes the ritual.
He does complete the ritual in 2.
However,
Okay.
the spell fails as he has spent too much time in his doll body and is now permanently trapped.
Wow. By the way, next summer, get ready. Doll bod. It's coming. Everybody's going to want to have a doll bod.
It's so funny if in Chicago I was like, oh, everyone knows no Chucky. And I'm like, you filthy slut. Park this piece of shit. Doing all the lines. Like,
Yeah.
no one gets it.
Yeah, everybody's like, what the fuck?
Give me the power, I beg of you.
So he does the
He does the thing, but his soul doesn't transfer because he spent too much time in the doll's body.
Okay.
Chucky is
And I'm
not...
sure that'll be the case for all of the movies.
Well, he might get a new doll body, Ray, just like he did in this one. Remember, he was brought back to life like Frankenstein?
Yeah.
Jason was brought back to life like that one time.
Many times, actually.
Yeah.
Lightning.
And dog piss.
That was Freddy.
That was Freddy. I'm so sorry.
That's the one
sorry.
I know.
I'm so
Chucky
sorry.
is not happy with this development.
They thaw him at one point. That's in space. By the way, the leprechaun's gone to space.
Yep.
Jason has gone to space.
Yep.
Chucky in
Did
space?
Chucky go to space?
Nope, not yet.
No, but he... Go ahead.
He could possess an
astronaut.
SpaceX
Neil
rocket.
Armstrong.
Elon Musk.
Chucky is not happy, and Jason.
How would you know?
Elon Musk.
That's great.
Park this piece of shit. Was he possessed by Chucky? No.
What? My Tesla?
Yeah.
Park this piece of shit.
Self-park the.
Okay. My Cybertruck? This looks like it was designed by small plastic hands. Charge this piece of shit.
There you go.
You filthy slut.
Yeah.
Was he possessed?
Clip it. That's
No.
a social media clip right there.
Yeah, that's what.
Chases Andy. After Chucky murders a factory technician, Kyle and Andy manage to mutilate Chucky's body with assembly line equipment.
It's pretty great because it's shown in the beginning of them putting together the doll.
Yeah.
Now we return to the factory and they have to go around it like an obstacle thing, like it's putting the
Yeah,
things
and
in.
George Lucas saw that and went, I'm going to put that in one of my prequels.
Yes, and then they have to go past it, and Chucky gets like stuck. I think they put a knife through his arm onto the conveyor belt, and he gets put into this
I
thing.
bet he had a couple of choice words when that happened.
He did.
Ouch!
Dang it.
And he goes into
Ow,
this
my
thing,
darn arm.
and it's like throwing arms and putting eyes on them and
Yeah.
like fucking them all up. It's,
Hell yeah.
it's pretty great. It's really great.
Yeah.
However, Chucky escapes and is able to knock Kyle unconscious. Andy is able to open an emergency release valve, showering Chucky with molten plastic and definitely killing him. No way he's coming back from that. Kyle wakes up. She and Andy approach the half-melted Chucky, who suddenly springs back to life. Dicks! Kyle shoves a high-pressure air hose into his mouth, inflating his head until it explodes.
Joke's on you. I like it, bitch.
finally killing him.
Okay.
Andy and Kyle exit the factory, unsure of where to go next, but I'm sure it will be terrible.
So cool effect when they do that.
I like the idea of a Chucky doll hiding out in the factory where they're making Chucky dolls. To me, that's ominous. Which
Sure.
one is the Chucky that we should be afraid of?
Yeah.
What about the arms and the molting? And
I like that.
he likes these movies a lot.
I don't.
Can I tell you?
Yes.
If I had a situation with a Chucky doll,
Yeah.
Right?
there's a murderous doll.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a hold of it, and then it's like, well, how do we make sure? How do we make sure this is never coming back? You ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's small.
Yep.
You get one of those Tupperware bins where you
Like a
put
Sterilite bin, yeah.
like Christmas decorations to put in the attic or something.
Yep.
You get one of those. You get some concrete. Right? You can buy that at a hardware store.
He does get trapped.
You
like
put the
this.
doll in the concrete, you fill the Tupperware tub, and then just like hold on to it.
Wait a minute.
You know what I mean? Don't let it break open.
Am I looking at Don Mancini? Because that's what happens later in the movies.
That's what they call me. They call my full name is Ray Don Mancini Harrington. Yeah.
I will say this movie, I don't think it's up to the quality of the first one,
I agree. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I think it's the second best movie. Maybe not my personal favorite.
Right.
Second best movie in the series in terms of how well it's made.
The first one's the best.
I think the first one's the best.
I'm noticing an interesting pattern.
well,
As we get further from the
it will
first,
continue.
they
he
go
told me his
down.
favorite last night.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's number 4. That's what he said.
That's
Did
correct.
you just fart, Brad?
No.
And so
I saw you.
but
Oh,
I
you're
think,
straightening your back.
But I think 2 is good. I think 2 is very good.
Yeah.
And I think it's widely regarded as
the
like,
only time you
this
see
is,
a woman named Kyle.
oh, this is like a really good direction. And then I think 3 is widely regarded as like this is where they dropped the ball.
Yeah,
And then
I did see 3 again. It's been so long.
Military school.
Yeah, and the paintball,
Yes, that's correct.
which is probably the most absurd thing. I remember being a kid knowing nothing about. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yes, we will.
But I think that 2 is great. And so far, if you're
Yeah.
paying attention to the story, in the first one he was killed by being burned to death and shot through the heart, and then in the second one he was brought to life because they took that doll with his soul in it and it was struck by lightning, and then they killed him in 2 by covering him in molten plastic and then blowing him up like a big
Balloon. Balloon.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
And also
A hot air Chucky balloon.
excellent cover.
Great
very
cover.
haunting.
Oh yeah. No, that cover. That's like a distinct memory.
Yes,
for sure.
Exactly. It's great stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Switching it up.
Child's Play 3.
Oh, I guess I'll just.
Yeah, that's fine.
1991. So 1 year. However,
Now, not even 1 year. It was 9 months later
yeah,
when they released this from the last one.
we have a time jump. Even though this movie came out so recently, we've moved forward in time 8 years.
Which I
That
think
means
is
someone-
a terrible...
Someone had sex after this movie. 9 months later,
Child's Play 3 came out
Child's Play
before
3
the
came
baby
out.
did.
Yeah, and they called that baby Chucky.
Check. Yeah, that's right. I was going to say, though, I think if you're doing a time jump, it's even more egregious to have such a short time between
Yes.
the two movies coming
True.
out.
Agreed. Child's Play 3 set 8 years after the events of Child's Play 2.
Yeah.
Because originality is dead, the Play Pals company resumes manufacturing Good Guy dolls and reopens their abandoned factory.
Yeah, if they thought that their PR crisis was at a 10 before the events of
Yes.
Child's Play Dose,
Yes.
now, oh my God, it happened at the factory.
And you know what sucks? They don't even know they're in Trace.
Oh,
They just think that life is moving on.
Yep.
I think the new assistant came to the CEO and went, "Are you familiar with Schadenfreude?"
As Chucky's corpse is being removed from the building, a splash of his blood...
Tiny little
that little body bag.
yeah.
A splash of his blood inadvertently falls into the molten plastic being used to produce the new dolls, thus reviving Chucky in a new body. That's right. 8 years later, the blood was still drippy enough to do this.
That's
Also,
what voodoo will get you.
the factory was never sterilized. I hate it.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
true. We just said Kiss.
Yep.
This is just like Kiss. They put a little drop of blood when they were making their comic books.
The red ink, yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Sorry, you just sleepaway camped Brad when I said that. Yeah, you
I,
went.
said, I was like, wow, what a great tie-in.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Good
Yeah.
job, Ray.
No problem.
Chucky tortures and murders PlayPal's CEO, Mr. Sullivan.
Oh, this is the Tommy Chucky
Not
part I was
Mr.
thinking
Sullivan.
of.
Oh, so this is like a socialist thing.
Is it the thing I'm thinking of?
Using various children's toys in his office.
Up his
Again,
ass?
physics are questionable.
In his butt?
Then uses the 1998 internet
keistered him?
to locate his old buddy, Andy.
Yeah, but there's a part that's really cool because there's two Child's Play dolls in a chair, and the guy like knows that one of them is like tormenting him, and he's like, "I'm Chucky, I'm Chucky," and like they're going back and forth, and
Yeah.
one of them is the doll, one of them is Chucky.
Both of them go, shoot him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first one to say shoot him is the
Is
one
the
you
one,
shoot.
yeah.
And then he's like, oh, no, wait.
Please tell me they
I
use.
programmed this in.
No,
when he-
the first one goes shoot him, the other one goes no shoot him. And he's like,
Please tell me when he went on 90s internet that we saw little doll hands like hitting the keys, like tiny little hands just going tick, 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 tick.
it's Michael Myers.
He's like, where's that AOL disc? Where's that filthy bitch at?
That's what he would say.
Yeah, I'm going to fuck you with this disc.
Yeah.
Now 16 years old, Andy has been enrolled in Kent Military School after failing out of the foster system.
You know what? Good for them for skipping the awkward puberty years.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'll
No
say-
one wants a cracky voiced little Andy.
I will say in terms, I'm not saying this movie is good, but in terms of concepts, the idea of having Andy be like, man, his mom went crazy. She thought this doll was thing. So he went into the foster system. Then he got the foster thing. Now it's like, we don't know what to do with him. He's in military school.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty logical.
Sure, I think that's the plot line of John Connor in Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I like
so
that.
he could show up. What's that guy's name? The actor?
Kyle Reese?
Robert
No.
Patrick? Edward Furlong.
Edward Furlong.
Edward
Thank you.
Furlong.
Eddie Long could go and be like, I know what it means to be in the system, and blah, blah, blah.
That's a good Eddie Furlong.
I didn't know what else to
Did
do.
Christian Bale eventually play that character, John Connor?
Yes.
Okay. By the way,
So
Chucky's,
sorry. I know what it means
Chucky's
to go through the foster system.
Chucky's voice reminds me a lot of Jack Nicholson. Hey,
I could see that. Yeah.
Andy.
Yeah.
He does do a couple of here's Chucky's, like when he's axing through a door.
And but the hey Andy, like he like
Yeah.
holds out some stuff. You know what I mean?
And he does say, "Wait till they get a load of me."
Yeah, I think also throughout the first three, maybe I'm wrong, Brad. You can tell me. There might be some flashbacks of Charles Lee Ray, or maybe that's not till Seed and Bride.
No.
Okay. All right. My bad. Brad's right.
Colonel Cochran, the school's commandant,
Oh.
advises Andy to forget his fantasies about the doll. Andy makes some new friends. Cadet Ronald Tyler, apparently the only 8-year-old at this military school.
Okay.
Harold Whitehurst, whose character bio just reads coward. And Kristen De Silva, Andy's love interest. She's good at shooting, and he's bad at it.
What?
It means he's saying there's going to be.
It's going to come back later. Oh, I thought you were alluding to some sense of like he didn't know when to
Nope.
pull out.
Nope. Andy also meets Brett C. Shelton, another cadet
So
who
this
is
guy
a
sounds like a real
lieutenant
cool dude.
colonel of the cadets, and he's such a dick.
Yep.
He's worse than Chucky because there's a lot of Brett C. Sheltons out there thinking they can tell you what to do.
And guess what? They can.
Yes.
I mean, anybody can tell you what to do.
Yeah.
But it's up to you whether or not you do it.
Yeah.
Fuck them in.
For
Or
some
woman.
reason, Tyler, the 8-year-old, is asked to deliver a package to Andy's room. Now, this package, size and shape of a good guy doll, but also like professionally wrapped for shipping.
How do you wrap it?
There is a question of how did Chucky wrap the boxes that he ships him because he ships himself around a lot in the rest of the series.
Oh God.
Well, how would you
Well,
get
once
anywhere
he
as a
figures
doll?
out how to do it, then he's like, "This is the system I have."
I bet you could
Where's
figure
that
it
bitch
out.
tape?
Yes.
You could. They should have shown him do it one time at the beginning, and we'd never have to worry about it.
Yeah. Exactly.
That would fix the whole problem of the series.
So Tyler is taking this package to Andy's room, drops it, realizes it's a good guy doll, takes it to the school's weapons armory to finish opening it. Nothing about this sequence makes sense. Chucky bursts out, ready to kill Andy, but discovers Tyler instead.
Now-
Chucky remembers he can possess the first person who learns his true identity,
When he's in a new body.
so he tells Tyler his secret.
Well, I have a question for you. Did
Yes.
Tyler is an 8-year-old African-American boy at a military school.
Oh, so Chucky doesn't want him.
No. So, did he come off as a little bit like slow to you?
Yes. He was like
that's
he was like
uncomfortable.
the mascot of like everyone was looking out for him, and
Yeah.
so it
Well,
could
he's
be
an 8-year-old child stuck at
I know,
military.
right,
school.
But the thing is, I don't know if they're treating him like a child or if they're treating him like Forrest Gump.
I think
I
a
took
child.
I took child.
Okay,
I took
Yeah.
But he talks. Maybe it's just the way he acted. He talks very slowly and kind of deliberately.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, Chucky.
I think it's because he's a bad actor.
okay.
Because
Yeah,
That's
and
my
trying
question.
to be an innocent child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of, you said Forrest Gump. What if Chucky met Forrest Gump
Whoa.
and he tried to get up in that body?
They would look at life very differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Life's like a box of fucking whores.
Before Chucky can enact the time-consuming voodoo soul-swapping ritual to possess Tyler, the Commandant interrupts them and confiscates Chucky, a student's private property, stolen private property at that, and throws it into a garbage truck. In an incredibly
Problem solved.
in an incredibly dumb scene, Chucky escapes by luring the driver into the truck's compactor and crushing him to death.
Oh, he Bugs Bunny'd him?
Yeah.
He dressed like a sexy little doll. And
Yes.
he was like,
I do have a tip for you.
Come on
he
in.
dressed like a sexy garbage truck driver, and the garbage truck driver was like, "Hey-oh."
hot mama.
I have a tip for everyone out there and Ray. If you ever find yourself in a Child's Play movie, don't like roughly bring him around and smack his head into doorways.
Yeah.
He'll
Or,
get
like,
mad at that.
He doesn't like it, and you will pay the price.
Yeah.
Yep.
That night,
Pay the cost to be the boss.
Chucky attacks Andy and tells him his plans for taking over Tyler's body. Why tell him his plans? Unclear. Before Andy can fight back, that Shelton guy comes in and takes the doll from him.
Give me that.
Chucky escapes, attempts to possess Tyler again, but they're interrupted by De Silva and another cadet.
Does Chucky make any jokes about becoming a black guy? He does in a different movie.
Yeah, I think he does in a different.
He's like,
I
I've
don't,
been a brother before.
I don't think he, I don't think he does for a child in this movie, but later.
teach you about racism. Jesus.
Later, a knife-wielding Chucky surprises the Commandant, unintentionally shocking him into a fatal heart attack. The next morning,
Chucky
I bet Chucky was disappointed.
he does.
he was.
He was. He was
All
like,
right.
he's like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Damn.
He's funny. He's very funny.
hard for nothing.
Yep.
I almost think Chucky's funnier than Freddy.
Yeah, I could see that.
Well, I think the concept of a little doll being this gruff, surly, sweary,
Yeah.
angry man
Yes.
is inherently always going to be funnier. I think universally,
yeah.
You know, you go back in time and show this to
a caveman.
No, well, don't go. No, they'll go insane. They won't have a concept of what a doll is.
I always think about going back in time and showing caveman shit.
All the time?
Crazy.
Brad is so mad right now. What would prehistoric Brad think?
Honestly, the same thing current Brad.
He would say his name.
Same skull shape.
The next
All
morning.
right, I'm going to teach you what a doll is.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to show you this real quick. And I just give me a scale of 1 to 10. How blown is your mind?
Which is funnier, this creature with knife hands that possesses your dreams, that's the bastard son of 100 maniacs?
You're showing him on your phone the video, and he keeps like being amazed by his phone. He's looking behind it, and you're like, no, forget that part. What about what's on it?
Yeah. We can put movies on our phone.
Yeah, who cares? I like how you said that like he knows what a phone is.
Yes.
Yeah, or a movie.
Or any words in English.
You would hate it.
The next morning, Andy tries to convince Tyler that Chucky's evil, but Tyler refuses to believe him. Meanwhile, Chucky kills the camp barber, who was such a jerk about giving people buzz cuts, by slashing his throat with a straight razor.
Good.
Now, if I remember this film, and I'm trying to engage with this on your level, not on Chuck's. I'm trying to come to you right now.
Thank you.
Don't get mad at me.
Reach down.
Little doll. So my question is this. I have a vague memory of this movie.
Yeah.
And when you get to the part that I think is absolutely ridiculous, we'll talk about that. But I seem to remember it being very empty. Or am I wrong?
No, you're correct. This is...
There's like 6 kids in this school?
It's widely regarded as just not well done because there was such a fast turnaround time from the previous movie.
But there weren't a lot of kids.
Yeah, I think he means the actual set physically. They have a couple scenes outside with a lot of people lined up.
Yeah.
But besides that, it mostly revolves around like 4 or 5 characters.
Yeah, that all happen to live in the same area and stuff like that, right?
I'll say some later films in the series feel emptier.
Okay, because my question was going to be like the barber and then the mental gymnastics of like, but there's like 6 kids here.
Yeah.
How often do they need haircuts?
There might be a scene where there's like a little regiment.
There's a couple. There's like
jogging around.
There's a few.
There's
because I believe the girl speaks up for Andy.
Yeah.
In a big scene with a ton of people in it. So
gotcha.
There's a couple. There's a couple
Fair
scenes
enough.
that they probably shot in one day.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they said everyone go home.
I mean, either
and let's
way,
film.
it is weird that a military school would have an in-house barber and that's their whole
And he
job.
takes so much glee in doing the buzz cut.
Yeah, that's
which
you're
is
right.
putting him out of work.
Yep.
They should give him another job. Like he's barber
And cafeteria man.
And doll wrangler.
Yes.
Lunch gentleman.
Maybe you don't ask other cadets to deliver packages. Maybe you could do it. So the straight razor across the throat, it is witnessed by the coward, Whitehurst. He sees it. He runs away, flees in terror.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the commandant's death, the school's annual war games using paintball-type ammunition are scheduled to proceed as planned, with cadets divided between a red team and a blue team.
Here's what irritates me to no end
Yes.
about that idea.
Yes.
Because little Chucky swaps out
That's
paintballs for real ammunition.
Yes.
It always bothered me because even as a kid who played paintball one time, it's like you can't make a real firearm into a paintball gun.
No, you cannot.
I just watched a movie. I wonder if it was one of the Child's Play movies where they did something that was so egregiously nonsensical. Oh, it was Grandma's Boy when the guy steals his video game.
What a pivot!
Well, I was just saying, it's funny because it's one of those things that when you're young, you just buy and you don't think about.
Sure.
Then you're like, why did adults say, here's how we're going to express this part?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why would they do this?
It just makes no sense to me. And I understand 1991 probably paintball is like a lesser known thing.
For sure.
But it's wild that it would be like, yeah, they just put in paintball bullets.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
it's crazy. And that no one would know. When you fire a fucking round out of a rifle,
Yes.
you're going to see like the flash and the muzzle flash and all that stuff. It always bothered me where I'm like, this, you can't do it. A regular gun's not going to take paintball cartridges. You know what I mean? It is crazy.
Yes,
so I'm bothered by that and I want it known.
In Grandma's Boy, the guy steals his video game and it's on a disc.
Yep.
He's been working on it for 3 years. And he goes, that was my only copy.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you talking about? You're working on this disc? What do you mean? It's just so strange.
It's a CDRW.
Yeah, they just keep rewriting it.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it's
I
a
hope it
CDRRRRRRRW. But yeah, that always bothered me.
I'm with you. The
sure.
cadets are divided, red team, blue team. Andy, Shelton, and Whitehurst are on the blue team. Just for kicks and gigs, Chucky secretly replaces the paint bullets of the red team with live ammunition.
Well, that's why they did it, I guess, is just to make this make sense.
Yeah,
but
I know, but it's so bizarre.
When the war games start, Chucky lures Tyler, who again is an 8-year-old participating in war games, away from his team. Finally realizing that Chucky is evil, Tyler stabs him with a pocket knife and flees to find Andy. Chucky then attacks De Silva and holds her hostage, forcing Andy to exchange Tyler for De Silva.
Oh, there's a very easy way to do it. I'm sorry. A more believable way.
I know,
Sorry,
I thought about one too.
My brain
That's right.
was going.
That's all right.
I thought about one too.
Yeah, so you have actual paintball guns.
And you replace the guns.
No. You just swap out the balls for like ball bearings.
Yeah, that's good.
And you just use movie logic for like the velocity, the force of that coming out.
I would
right?
just have the main guy, the commander or commandant or whatever you said, just be like, we got the most like realistic looking paintball guns around, and then they just look very similar, and they replace
And
them
he
with real
swaps the
guns.
gun.
Yeah, swaps the guns.
That's
Because
easy too.
otherwise the logic is that this military school for children
Is giving them guns.
gives them guns fully capable of firing actual ammunition, and then they swap in this. It's like, excuse me, Commandant, have you seen the film The Crow?
yeah.
This is not good.
Yeah.
Have you spoken with Alec Baldwin recently?
Alec
Baldwin?
That's his daughter.
That's how you do that's how a genie grants a wish. Alec Baldwin.
Give me the power, I beg of you.
We're too early into this to be this punch drunk.
The blue team and the red team arrive to this hostage exchange scene and open fire. That jerk Shelton is killed by a bullet from the red team while Tyler escapes in the chaos. Chucky tosses a live grenade at the bickering cadets.
Paint grenade.
Whitehurst leaps on top of the grenade, sacrificing himself to save the others.
The coward? Wow. Turns out he was a brave man the whole time.
There is no explanation as to why there is so much live ammunition available with so little security
Yes.
at this military academy. Tyler flees to a convenient nearby carnival where Chucky kills the security guard and captures Tyler again.
This is the geography already with one and the factory being, it just happens to be in the same place where our young man is dealing with a killer doll.
Well, every time Chuck goes to a carnival, he's like, oh, over there are war games.
Yeah, over there is the military school
Yes.
where the war games happen.
Yes.
That makes me mad that there would be a carnival next to the military school.
Yeah.
And they
I
can't
know.
even go because they have to do their war games.
I will say, it almost feels like this was part of a different idea, and they worked it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, with 9-month turnaround,
Yeah.
I bet this was a completely different script that had
True.
a whole different thing
Yes,
going
you're
on
right.
with it,
Yeah.
and then they just added all this stuff in. The carnival is insane. At one point, the commandant would have had to have been with all the students for the war games. Like, now, for the war games this year, it happens every other year. The carnival is also here.
Yep.
So here's what we're going to do. We have put orange flags along this side of the field. Do not go past that, okay? Because there are people doing hay rides over there. All right? They are not part of our war games.
They
Now
are not.
take your real rifle
Yep.
and get out in those woods, but do not go past the war doesn't go over there.
Yeah,
The
right.
war is only over here.
Don't point your weapon in that direction.
Yes.
True, the carnies will shoot on sight.
Yes.
They will shoot back.
That's a movie I want to see.
Yeah.
Start with the war games and it's crazy carnies.
like it.
No offense to our carny folk. We know we have a large listenership of carnies.
Mostly carnies.
It's
yeah.
mostly carnies all the way down. Yeah.
Andy and De Silva arrive at the carnival and take the security guard's gun. They follow Chucky and Tyler into a pretty bizarre indoor horror-themed roller coaster. We've all been on Mystery Mansion at Indiana Beach, right? It's that.
Is that where you Yeah, okay.
Was conceived? Yes. Chucky.
Lightning struck.
Yes.
God damn, I knew there was a reason why I joined this little trio. It was to get nuggets like that. Niblets.
Chucky wounds De Silva, she gives Andy the gun and tells him to save Tyler. Remember how she was good at shooting and he was bad? Well, Andy pursues Chucky deeper into the ride and repeatedly shoots him on top of a mountain of skulls, saving Tyler. Chucky revives, attacks again. In the struggle, Andy manages to throw him into a massive metal fan, shredding his body apart and finally killing him.
My wing.
In the aftermath, De Silva is rushed to the hospital while Andy is taken away by police for questioning again.
There is a cool thing about Chucky that we should mention where there's a little bit of body horror that you get to do with him because he's a doll.
Yeah.
And so by the end of every movie, he's fucked up in a different way. And in this, during the ride, there's like a Grim Reaper thing, and the scythe comes down and cuts off half of his face. He's like, ah! And then so half of his face is just like cut off and bleeding, and his eye is out as he's pursuing them the whole time.
Yeah.
And when they throw him into the fan, they do have a cool mechanic because they must have used some kind of like robot where he when they throw him, he waves his arms and his hands like he's trying not to go.
Yeah,
and it's pretty disturbing to see.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah.
That's fun. I feel like that also comes with the idea of the tropes for a movie like this where you're like, well, we have this little doll.
Yeah.
So A, it's going to be filthy.
Yeah.
And it's going to swear a lot and it's going to do these things. And B, when it does finally get killed, we have to have it be comical, like Mr. Bill level.
Yeah.
Like
of
over,
silly.
yeah,
Yeah,
over the
yeah,
top,
because
yeah.
it's a doll.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some great stuff later in the series with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was
The toughest one to watch.
Yeah, this was tough.
Yeah.
I think it was the low point. I might have one other low point, but this is probably the lowest.
Yeah. I really did not enjoy the film.
There was that
At
one
all.
that they did that was they were inspired by the Final Nightmare or New Nightmare or whatever it's called. Yeah. When they go meta.
We're
And
going to talk
that's-
about that
that's
change.
coming.
Well, but I remember the scene vividly, and it's Chucky sitting at the desk with Jay Leno.
Yep.
And I remember that, and it was just weird. It was just really weird. It wasn't worth all this runway. It was just a
lot
fun
of
thing.
runway.
I like the visual of a Chucky sitting
I will say
and talking to Jay Leno.
this is a good transition
so this
point.
is something. Yeah.
This is a good transition point, actually.
Okay.
Because the first three, I kind of consider like the initial trilogy.
Yeah.
And I think that the box office return on 3 was not very good. And so they just kind of stopped making them for a while. I would say more than 5 years, right?
7 years.
7 years. So what happened was, at this point in time in the movies in general, slashers were dying.
Yeah.
Because you got to think that Michael Myers had at least a 10-year, about a 10-year head start on Child's Play as a series. Freddy, Jason, all that stuff. So all those movies hit a lull by the mid 90s. As I'm sure you know, it's really more for the audience, but Scream brought that slashers back by being so self-referential that they were very meta, and that influenced all the different slashers. I think H2O in the Halloween series was influenced by that.
Yeah.
I think that New Nightmare was influenced by that. And the next movie, which is the fourth, it's Bride of Chucky, was not only influenced by Scream, but I think it was equally influenced by Scary Movie.
Yes.
Really?
Because Scary Movie was also huge.
yeah.
And it was it's weird. Scream and Scary Movie, I know people who get them confused because they're so similar in terms of the characters that were in each one.
So somebody's talking about Scream, and they're like, "I know the guy with the little weird hand."
yeah, yeah.
Right?
Well, they're talking about different parts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think H2O directly inspired by Scream, but that was also made by Dimension that made Scream, so maybe that's why it's so close. This Bride of Chucky has a large comedy element.
Yes.
On purpose.
Gotcha.
And they have a part with Britney Spears being killed by Chucky, which to me is a Scary Movie thing and definitely not a Scream thing.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Scary Movie, by the way.
Oh, it's in Seed.
I've never seen something explode to such a degree and then kill itself more than the parody film.
I think that Scary Movie and Scary Movie 2 were made by the Wayans, and I think that they're fun, they're dumb, they're really, really...
No, Scary
those
Movie
two
and Scary Movie
specifically-
2 are fun.
Yeah.
Yes,
For
and
sure.
then I think a lot of people probably copied them, and then famously, I guess the company that made Scary Movie 1 and 2 kind of cut them out of the deal and tried to go on their own, and they just had a completely different tone.
Date movie,
Yes.
disaster movie. Like you get all those movies, and where it does become, we're not going to do jokes anymore.
Nope.
We're just going to do this year pop culture references.
Yes.
You know which one
that
is
are going to
actually
be old by the time this comes out.
It is the Bill and Ted show at Universal.
Yes,
on film.
it is.
I hate it. I really do. I hate it.
You know,
so
there's
much.
one more good one.
What's
Not
that?
another teen movie. It was actually very funny.
That felt different. That
It did,
felt
it did.
outside of all of that stuff.
Jamie Presley, Chris Evans, very funny.
No, and the writing is strong in that too.
Yeah,
Because they're going for it, and though that isn't just
I know
this year's pop culture references.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're making the jokes on the substance.
I agree.
On the genre of teen movies.
I agree 100%.
Which is what you should do. Hey, if
Yes.
we're doing not another disaster movie or whatever, maybe we focus on those.
Yes.
Right? Instead of just like, yeah, but what did Paris Hilton do?
Exactly.
That's pretty crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will say the Child's Play movies, like Bride, Chucky, and Seed of Chucky, that are influenced by that, they don't do very much of that.
No.
The Britney Spears thing, that one, I feel like that's all that is.
Yeah.
To put, honestly, if you want my honest opinion, and I don't have any proof, I think they shot that to put in a trailer to attract the audience that was seeing Scary Movie.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And that's the only part of the movie that's like that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
You know, so I think
Yeah.
it's that. But I think
go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think that this next direction is influenced by comedy more than the other slashers of the time.
No, that's fun. And this is where I do not know. I don't know anything now.
All right.
Oh, cool.
From,
That's fun.
From now on, like I know Chucky 1, Chucky 2 I wasn't familiar with, and then I remember seeing Chucky 3 at some point. From here on out, I am Chucky
Blind.
ignorant.
Blind.
Chuck-ignorant.
Yes.
But I would say this on the last note of all the spoof parody movies.
Yes.
It would be fascinating, but also pure hell to watch them now.
Oh, I wonder.
For how many of the jokes you'd have to be like, you'd have to think about it and go,
Yeah, for sure.
Right. There was that band at the time.
and then they mentioned like a politician that was running for president and didn't win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like there's a joke with it's just crazy to me. It really is.
Oh yeah. It's funny because I really appreciate this time period. I mean I think Scream is just a great movie.
Yeah.
And I think H2O and New Nightmare are both awesome and highlights of those series. I really feel that way. And Bride of Chucky, I have a lot more appreciation for now that I watched it.
VOC.
I think when I was a kid, I respected the initial Child's Play. I was so scared of it that I was a little bit like, oh, they went in this direction. But now when I'm older and I've made so many film projects and I think about writing more often, I'm like, well, they had to evolve and they can't go in the same direction. So I kind of appreciate the turn a lot more than I used to.
Yeah, because they could have gone like a Fincher kind of route.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I would love
and
it.
go full 7 on this thing, right? That could be fascinating.
It would be.
Oh, a dead serious Chucky?
I can't wait till we tell you about the reboot because the reboot is my most disliked property in the franchise.
Yeah.
It would be funny to see
Oh, yeah, so it's lower than 3.
Fincher-esque Chucky. That would
Oh
be
yeah, I would love that. I mean, they did make a very serious, stark Nightmare on Elm Street movie that was really bad.
Yeah.
And
I'm not saying it would be good.
Yes.
It'd be
I'm saying
interesting.
it would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Rooney Mara
Yeah,
is the star.
sort of like Megalopolis, the
Yeah.
new film out right now.
Yes,
It's not good.
I heard.
But I'm fascinated.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will see it just to see the horror of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Bride of Chucky, 1998, released in the year that Child's Play 3 was technically set. In Lockport, New York, in 1998, we pan through a police evidence room.
This part's fucking awesome.
We see a hockey mask, a knife glove, a faded Shatner-style mask. Get it, Ray? Anyway, a cop sneaks...
See, this is the kind of meta stuff that I like. That I'm
Chuck's
like, this
fingernails from the Christmas episode.
Oh, yeah.
What I do like the idea of these series acknowledging each other.
Sure.
I like in Jason Goes to Hell, they have the Necronomicon.
Yeah.
And then Freddy's glove comes in. I mean, that's amazing.
But I think you got to also have, if you do that, by law, Hollywood law states, you have to also include a movie that has nothing to do with what you're doing.
Yes.
Like if that scene happened, and then also in that movie, we understand that in this world, E.T. happened. That would be amazing.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that's great.
Yeah.
I like the
awesome.
idea that he's an ancestor of Shakespeare in Love. Shakespeare in Love really happened.
Yes.
Chucky is a long... All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, a cop sneaks the Chucky doll out, the one that fell into a metal fan and was shredded to bits.
Yep.
The cop is going to sell the doll to Tiffany Valentine.
It's not it's not fully intact. It's all fucked up. It is fucked up in different pieces.
It's not
Okay.
it's not shredded like
She has to take apart 1,000 other dolls to put it back together, so it's pretty shredded, right? Doesn't she have a huge thing of dolls?
It is more intact than you would think after falling into a metal fan.
It's less intact.
Yep. The cop is going to sell the doll to Tiffany Valentine, Chucky's as yet unmentioned former lover and accomplice.
Well, why would you mention if you were in the body of a doll? You think that's what your problem is?
Didn't Charles Lee
Where's that bitch?
Didn't Charles Lee Ray get shot in Chicago? Why are we in New York now? You shut your mouth, Ray. Anyway, Tiffany murders the cop,
I've dated people in 50 states.
then repairs the doll
Dated.
and performs a not as lengthy as before voodoo ritual to revive him. She uses a book called Voodoo for Dummies because it was 1998.
It was a joke. It was like a scary
Yeah,
movie
yeah,
joke,
yeah.
essentially.
Her sub, Damien, arrives at her trailer, and we learn
Sub,
how
not son.
I heard sub.
crazy and kinky and into death they are. Ooh. Tiffany is delighted when Chucky comes to life
What if we fuck?
and
But there's a bat in the
mothers Damien.
The joke is that the Damien guy is like a real puss, and he's like lying about the kills and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she's like
the
annoyed
Chuck
with
character
him.
in the film.
But then when she thinks the Chucky thing didn't work, and
You would be Damien, and then you'd be explaining to Brad, like, no, she's super hot.
Yep.
I just have to pretend like I did all these murders.
Yeah.
exactly what happens.
I don't know if I should pretend, but she's so hot.
Yeah, and Brad's like, but you're lying.
Yeah. I mean, Yep.
I've never lied.
I've been overruled in situations like that before.
And anyway, and so she thinks it didn't work. But then what happens is like she's like, oh, I hate this sub guy that I'm banging. It's just like this stinks.
Jared
and then,
Fogle?
And then she looks where Chucky was.
Yeah.
And he's gone, and so she's like, "Oh, wait a minute! Is Chucky
I'm
come back
hot
to life?"
for-
And
I'm
now
hot
we're
for
going to
this
treat
doll.
this guy like a stuck pig.
Yep. Chucky and Tiffany get into an argument when Chucky laughs at the prospect of marrying her. She
yeah.
angrily locks him up and taunts him by giving him a wedding-themed bride doll. Chucky escapes and throws a toaster in the tub to murder her.
Yes.
He then uses a suspiciously quick voodoo spell to transfer her soul into the bride doll as revenge.
It's because-
first time is faster, bitch.
I was going to say, like, you got to think the audiences are evolving. Let's get it going.
Chucky explains that if they want to escape their doll bodies, they must retrieve a magical amulet called the Heart of Damballa that was buried with his human body.
I'm out again. Why was it buried with his human body?
It was
'Cause
never mentioned before.
wait a minute.
keistered it before I died,
Hold on. You got a guy who's a murderer who's into voodoo. You think he doesn't have an amulet?
You think they bury a murderer with what he had on him? Oh, we better, we the state are going to bury this dead body.
Yep.
We better respect the remains and put
I
the
hope
items.
If I'm killed by cop,
Yeah.
if I'm
Likely.
wearing jewelry, like make sure you guys gotta make sure they bury me with it.
Oh, I am going to make sure.
I'm the
Remember
one
that?
who called the cops.
Chuck, you remember that Tupperware bin full of concrete I was talking about?
Just because of this kind of situation could come up, I might need to get back to my body, which had the jewelry that I was wearing when I died.
Yeah.
All right.
I hate this. I hate it so
It's great.
much.
This is Brad's
Ugh.
favorite one.
Chucky and Tiffany decide the best bodies to inhabit are Tiffany's generically handsome neighbor Jesse and his girlfriend Jade, played by Katherine Heigl.
Too
Tiffany.
many J's.
Yep. That's why I'll refer to her as Katherine Heigl.
And her overbearing dad, John Ritter.
Uncle. Tiffany calls Jesse and asks him to drive
in this?
2 dolls
It's great.
to Hackensack, where Chucky's
Jersey.
body is buried, in exchange for $1,000.
What, do we have to go to like hell or something? Worse. Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
that should have been in the trailer.
Jesse is poor and needs the money to marry Katherine Heigl, so he says yes.
There's a great part before they make this decision where she goes, all right, so we just have to get to Hackensack, New Jersey. And Chucky goes, yeah, we'll just rent a car. And we're dolls, you dope, which is like it's perfectly in line with you filthy, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he continues that through. It's great. Yeah. It's very fun.
Jade's strict uncle, Police Chief Warren Kincaid, played by John Ritter.
This is 3. Oh, we got to change it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shit.
What's wrong with you?
Sorry.
How could you do such a thing?
I got too excited about my life.
There we go.
Thank you.
Now it makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chucky gets lucky.
Chucky gets lucky.
Oh, I hate that.
It's
What if we made a movie with
You're
all
jealous
of
of
our
any Chucky
first
who
ideas?
gets lucky.
Hold on, let me get my line. What if we made a movie with all of our first ideas?
Can I give you a weird thought about that?
Sure.
The owners of
A Lonely Heart.
this franchise at this point in time are Universal. And I wonder if they did Bride of Chucky because of Bride of Frankenstein.
Well, yeah.
Do you think that's basically
That's
like...
literally the whole idea, yes.
Well, I'm wondering if... I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, like, do you think that they did it... I don't know.
No, somebody saw Natural Born Killers, and they were like, that, but Lil.
Yeah.
I'm just interested.
And then let's name it Bride of Chucky to harken back to Bride of Frankenstein.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, no, of course. That's the whole deal.
Yeah.
That's absolutely the whole deal. Chucky is like an inanimate thing that has been given life.
Yes.
Right? It's not hard to draw a parallel to Frankenstein.
Right.
Right.
Right?
Lightning.
Especially later with the stitches and all the stuff.
Yes, exactly.
And so, yeah, give him a lady. And you also have to zhuzh it up. You're like, okay. Like, I'm surprised it took until the 4th movie to get another
2 dolls.
doll into the mix.
Yeah, it feels like the first 3 movies, they were like, let's just keep it as this is the story.
It's Chucky. Chucky's alone, and that's what he does. Yeah.
And then in this is where they went a turn. They kind of opened it.
Yeah.
It's just it's an interesting thing.
They went double doll.
Yeah. John Ritter plants a bag of marijuana in Jesse's van to get him in trouble and keep him away from Katherine Heigl. ACAB. Chucky and Tiffany kill John Ritter by putting a bunch of nails in the airbag chamber, then triggering it somehow. He looks like Pinhead from Hellraiser, and Chucky says, "Oh, that looks familiar." How did Chucky see Hellraiser?
I mean, I do like the idea of nails in an airbag thing.
Yeah.
That's a new kill. I like that.
Yeah.
I think he puts it at the edge of the glove box.
Yeah.
Like he puts them all resting on that, and then he hits the front and the airbag deploys.
Oh, okay. I thought he put them in the...
No, I think this makes more sense though. The one that I just described, because how would he put him in an airbag?
Right.
Sure.
The dolls hide his body under a
How
bench
would you
seat
put
in the van.
paintballs in a 9mm?
He later comes back to life and is stabbed to death. I honestly don't remember the order of operations there. Jesse and Katherine Heigl begin their trip.
Okay.
The two are pulled over by a different cop who finds the planted marijuana. When the cop returns to his patrol car to report it, Chucky somehow sneaks over to the cop car, puts a rag in the gas tank, and lights it up, blowing up the car and killing the cop. Jesse and Katherine Heigl are on the run and begin to suspect each other of blowing up the cop car.
Oh, my God.
Nevertheless, they get married.
So basically,
oh my God.
One of the through lines of this movie is that the two human characters that are like, they're pretty young, they're like 19 or something. They both suspect that the other one is responsible for the murder spree. And they're like watching stuff on TV that's like, is your spouse lying to you about something? Are they hiding something? Stuff like that.
Okay. So this is just a comedy.
It's mostly comedy.
Yeah. Again, they believe the other person may be responsible for murder and decide to go through with their elopement. This is Ray and Kalina all over again.
What the fuck, man?
While at a
That's
hotel.
my real life wife.
I highlighted that and I said, should we cut this?
Yeah, I'm about to Will Smith this entire episode,
All right,
and I'm going to come over there and I'm going to slap that wig off.
No!
Wouldn't it be amazing
This is where I get my power.
if this was like the
It's
line?
the wig of Damballa.
But I just like the idea of like this genuinely was it. I'm like, I told you not to fucking make jokes about my wife, and it's a whole thing. And you are defensive, dressed as Chucky. You're like, no, I thought it was an innocent joke.
I got confused about Will Smith and Tom Cruise. I thought you were going to jump on the couch.
While at a hotel, another couple, possibly swingers, who for some reason have an adjoining room with an unlocked door, come in, flirt with Jesse and Katherine Heigl, and steal Jesse's wallet. Mm-hmm. In revenge,
Flim flam, man.
In revenge, Tiffany murders them. She shoots a champagne cork into the mirror above their bed, which shatters.
That's pretty
The
fun.
shards of glass impale them.
It's fun.
And then on a waterbed too.
Yeah.
I know. All right, fine.
So the water explodes.
Yes, it's fun,
Yep.
but also like,
Yep.
you know what I mean?
That
Like
was my reaction.
the logic of a single champagne cork entirely shattering that, and then her also being like, "And this will kill them,"
Yes.
is a little. It's a little
Chuck-
toy bridge too far.
Chucky and Tiffany both do some Hail Mary plays with killing, but it always works out.
Yeah, they're very good at it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like when you find what you're good at,
Yeah.
lean into it.
Yep.
You'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
Chucky
Slut.
Chucky sees this and realizes he's in love with Tiffany. He proposes and they have sex. She asks about protection, and Chucky points out that he is made of plastic.
No, come on. You're ruining the...
Tiffany is Jennifer Tilly.
Voiced by Jennifer Tilly.
Voiced by Jennifer Tilly.
Okay, so at this point, she
She's
is
in
the doll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The joke
And so
is,
then
she says, do you have a rubber? And he says, I'm made of rubber.
Yeah.
You really butchered that joke.
The following
Do you
morning,
have a prophylactic? I'm made of plastic. I mean, it rhymes.
Brad's like, I thought I was doing an Eminem thing.
the following morning, Jesse and Katherine Heigl reconnect with their friend, old Frosted Tips David. David informs them they are the prime suspects for the deaths, but he believes them innocent.
Frosted Tip. What year did this come out again?
98.
Yeah,
And this guy
that tracks hard.
Now, here's what's a weird thing, but is true. Don Mancini is an openly gay man,
Okay.
the guy who created Chucky, and this character is gay. And he's like,
Okay.
I had a boyfriend, and my parents got us together, and they really looked down on it, so I never got to see him. You guys have to make this, basically telling them to run away from John Ritter and make this work. So before
dolls.
No, the Katherine Heigl and the
Okay,
person.
the young lovers.
The young lovers. So before this point in the movie, he's like, I believe in you guys. You're in love. I lost my love. You got to do it.
Yep.
And now he reunites, but he thinks that they are killers too.
He's like, oh, you're innocent, and then he finds John Ritter's impaled body
Yeah.
in the van, and that convinces him they are murderers.
Yes.
When Chucky and Tiffany reveal they're alive, a startled David gets out of the van and steps into the middle of the highway. He is hit by a semi-truck, killing him.
They do the Final Destination kill.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I think at some point they were
Or
worried
a
about
lot of movies have done that kill, yeah.
They were driving. They were worried about the cops. Chucky starts shooting backward to keep the cops away, and the cop runs off the road. This was the only cop chasing them, apparently. Off camera,
He doesn't want to call it in. He'd be so embarrassed.
Well, they got to get rid of their van.
Yeah.
Yes.
Car 14, where are you? I'm going to the bathroom.
I got
He's
diarrhea.
in the ditch.
Yep.
You were taken out? Oh, man, this guy must have been huge. I mean, I didn't...
There were two of them, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I was overpowered.
Yes.
One of them sounded like Jennifer Tilly.
The other one sounded like Jack Nicholson.
Chucky and Tiffany they steal an RV to evade the police. Jesse and Katherine Heigl instigate an argument between Chucky and Tiffany.
They play them against each other.
Clever. Child's play them against each other.
In the commotion, Katherine Heigl... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think what's happening at this point in time when they cause them to argue is Chucky and Tiffany are preparing the two young lovers to take over their bodies.
Right.
And they're getting them dressed up to have some sort of wedding or moment.
They're still driving.
Oh, really?
Tiffany has baked cookies for
that's
Chucky
correct.
in the RV oven.
Yes.
And being the picture of domestic 1950s-ish. And, they're like,
So when she switches gears, she really switches gears.
She really switched gears.
And the guy knew Tiffany before she became a doll, and she had made these comments like, my mom always said, a man should appreciate you taking care of him. And so he's like, so Chucky, what do you think of those cookies? Like he's trying to get him.
Yeah.
He's like, these cookies are shitty, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so they're using their knowledge.
Yep.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
So there's an argument in the commotion. Katherine Heigl kicks Tiffany into the RV's oven while Jesse pushes Chucky out the window.
It's a good moment.
The RV crashes, and Chucky forces Katherine Heigl to take him to the grave. Katherine Heigl has to retrieve the amulet from the casket, the dead body. Ooh, gross. Jesse appears with Tiffany, who is now horribly burned. As Chucky begins the ritual, Tiffany has a change of heart and decides she doesn't want to hurt Jesse and Katherine Heigl.
She's like, these people really have a chance at love.
Yep. So she tries to kill Chucky.
Okay.
Chucky stabs her.
Oh.
Jesse knocks him into his own grave with a shovel. A private investigator we didn't know about at all arrives on the scene. Katherine Heigl takes his gun and shoots Chucky several times, killing him. After declaring the couple innocent, the private investigator sends them on their way. You know, like all private investigators can do. Tiffany springs briefly back to life and starts screaming and gives birth to a baby doll with super sharp teeth, which dives out and attacks the investigator. Ugh.
The end.
Wait, so Tiffany
Stabbed by Chucky. After being burnt. She looks like she's on her last legs.
Okay, all right. And then Chucky is
killed by Katherine Heigl.
Shoved into the grave and shot.
Yep.
For the amulet.
And I will say this.
You know what? Can we all agree?
Yes.
Guys, stop making amulets. They're never used for a good purpose. They're only bad.
You know what? No, fuck you. You only hear about them when they're used bad. Yeah.
Fuck you and fuck your amulet.
I'll bet if we had one amulet between the three of us, it wouldn't corrupt us at all.
Oh, it would corrupt us immediately. And the pious one would
get us an amulet.
The pious one would be the first
to
fall for the amulet's charms.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it would be slowly killing you while it's like granting all of your wishes or whatever.
I was going to say,
such small wishes.
You guys aren't letting that amulet.
My shoes are so comfortable.
You guys aren't letting that amulet change you, are you? And Ray's just like super jacked and lifting up a car.
That's before we find the amulet?
Yes.
But yeah, let's stop making amulets. No one has ever said, "Oh, thank God for that amulet."
Yeah, that's true.
I love the voodoo. I'm happy with the voodoo. I want to know more about the voodoo. When they mentioned an amulet, I'm like, "Fuck yeah! I want there to be 20 amulets around the world. We're gonna collect them."
Didn't Magica Dispel have an amulet?
Fuck yes, of course you did. Scrooge.
Man, there's so many things. It's difficult to take this one seriously.
Yes.
Because
it's silly.
It doesn't feel like they took it seriously.
They did not.
No, it's very silly. I mean, it's obviously when we're doing the recaps back to back, the tone of Child's Play 1 and the tone of Bride of Chucky, when you watch them, are wildly different. But in here, we're just telling the facts of what they are.
I'll say this was the movie in the series I enjoyed the most. I thought it balanced comedy and, schlocky horror kills really well.
It sounds interesting. I would probably watch that one.
Kind of relocating things from Chicago to New York, I like a lot less. Where's Chuck going to do all his research?
I will say
now we find out that's why he moved to Staten Island, to be closer to Chucky's grave.
I'm fine with them being like. I mean, I think it does make perfect sense.
Wait, what about that shiny new necklace you got?
I will say, and you're so handsome recently. I will say, it does make sense if you have a killer in Chicago who was killed at the age of 35, that he has an ex-girlfriend that lives in New York. That's not weird.
Fine.
That's fun. That makes perfect sense. And maybe his body was buried there, and he grew up there, Hackensack, New Jersey.
And what if his girlfriend lived in Toronto so they could get the tax break?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
I like the idea that Chuck has the amulet. He's like, I wish I were handsome, and the amulet just kind of like.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh, I busted another one, and he throws it. I'm like,
and there's a huge pile.
Too redundant of a wish.
Oh, that's what it. Yes.
So anyway, I think that the logic of that stuff is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fine.
I gotta say, I like the voodoo. The voodoo becomes more of a thing later on in the series.
You got a killer doll. Fine. We don't need. You know what? I would take an amulet without the voodoo over voodoo. Give me a magical thing that just the MacGuffin that does it, that doesn't require like a belief system.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Because like they don't have to do it with Freddy. They don't have to do it with Jason. The idea is like, oh look, Jason went to hell. He's a horrible hell being or something. Yeah. And it's like everybody just goes, yeah, okay, hell.
Yeah,
sure.
but I think that's it feels a lot thinner. I do have a problem with Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees' invincibility. I do have a problem with that. And I do think I wish it was explained.
I guess.
You know what I mean?
Jason is like Jason's hard because
Jason's different.
Jason's this other thing that's kind of I think that's part of the charm.
Yeah.
That they willfully are like, no, that's just what he is.
Yep.
If too many people did that, it would be annoying. But like Jason owns that since the beginning, which is kind of fun.
I agree with you. I think that as we've gone through these movies, and as I've gone through movies with Brad before in our last podcast, I did realize that Friday the 13th feels like the Kmart series to all these other ones. As you know what I mean? It's like if Halloween was like a good movie,
Sure.
Friday the 13th was like, oh, that's popular. Let's do a thing. And
Well,
so
yeah, there were a million slashers at that time. That one hit.
right.
That one happened to hit.
Yeah.
You know, and it was in the vein of those. There were a ton of slashers that came out around the same time. So there were some that existed before it, and then some that aped that one because it was successful.
Yeah.
The whodunit slasher, Sleepaway Camp. I brought that up earlier.
Sure.
That's one of them where
Yes.
you see often. The slasher is, the kills are done in the POV of the killer,
Yes.
Yeah.
and we are left to not know who that might be, and that's what Jason does, and the reveal of it's his mother,
Yeah.
Yes.
that's the killer. That happens in a lot of those movies. There's
Sure.
a ton of them. A lot of Giallo movies like to do that. A little whodunit slasher.
yeah.
It's interesting. It's been done a million trillion times.
Yep.
But I think I would be more happy without voodoo. I think because
I like the voodoo.
I think it's hard for me to take like Oshkosh Bagosh overalls
Yeah.
and pair it with what we think of with voodoo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The
So you
movie
didn't-
should be
you-
taking in place in like Nolans.
So you didn't care for Weekend at Bernie's or 2? That was the voodoo one.
That's the level of
Voodoo.
all of it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about. So if we want to take Chucky as seriously as Bernie 2,
Yep.
then fine.
You see
know
the
what I
movie
mean?
Skeleton Key?
No.
No.
I think it's about voodoo as well.
I appreciate. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I can understand your perspective, but I appreciate that Chucky has at least a reason, and where it feels like some of the other ones, it's just like just buy it, and I feel like
Well, voodoo is also just buy it. Voodoo is an explain away, the same way hell is an explain away.
I think that voodoo can be an explain away, but at the same time, it's a real thing that people believe in. The idea of not even
Hell is also a thing
but
that
that's
people
not.
believe.
But hell is not a part of Friday the 13th for the first 20 years it exists.
Sure, sure.
You know what I mean? So we're not talking about like they used hell as an explanation.
Yeah.
They're just like all of a sudden he's an old guy and he's alive, and there's literally nothing.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's better.
Can I give a brief pitch?
Yeah.
TM, Funbearable,
Yeah.
for the next Friday the 13th movie.
Okay.
Jason, unkillable, unstoppable force of evil personified.
Yes.
Logic tells us there is an unkillable force of good personified, and I think they're going to have to slug it out.
That's funny, but I mean, why you can't really make that as like a logic like rule. It's not like whenever there's like a Hitler, there's like a Superman.
No, they do that. I mean, Star Wars is literally all of that.
Yeah.
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 You're bringing balance to the force, buddy.
Right. And
Sorry,
there-
baby.
There have
You're bringing
been
balance to the force, baby.
But the Force is part of the creation of that, though. It's not just the world.
there are other things that have used the idea of like when this exists, its opposite also must exist.
Yes.
Maybe-
a lot of that has happened.
Maybe the way you could tell that story, though, is there's a character who feels that way, and all the other characters are like, no, like that's not true, blah, blah, blah. And then that character ends up being right, and they'd have to figure it out.
You know who it is? Tyrese from Fast and Furious kills Jason.
I would
Unkillable.
take that. I mean, why wouldn't you have Dominic Toretto?
Because
go up
Tyrese
against
points
him?
out that they're unkillable.
Yep.
Oh, that is right. Yeah,
That's
but then
why.
it turns out to be Dom. I feel like anybody walking up and like the classic shot profile, the two
Yeah.
coming up to square off. Where
Yeah.
I feel like they did that same exact shot with Vin Diesel and The Rock.
Yeah.
Yes.
Only now it's Jason. Come on, fuck it. Oh my God, Fast and Furious 13th.
Yep.
I would watch the shit out of that. Where they get the call,
he
and
misses-
it's
he-
Kurt Russell, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Look, I'm back again. I
Yeah.
faked my death, and I want you guys to know, Jason.
Yep.
You guys
I've been to
familiar with
hell.
the Jason?
I've been to hell. Someone escaped hell.
Yeah. And buddy, you wouldn't like it.
Oh, it's Dom going to hell to bring back Paul
No,
Walker.
I want
Oh,
real.
no.
Why is Paul in hell?
No, Brian's still
You
alive.
fucking
He's on a
monster.
beach. Yeah. Come
Yeah.
on. What's wrong?
Yeah.
And
That's good.
still, they would have to do the issue with like writing him out that way. It's like even now where it's like, okay, so a hell beast has come back, and at one point he would go, "Don't call Brian."
Yes.
Yeah.
Call his wife. He's busy with the kids. His wife is around.
Call Brewster.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but I would absolutely watch that. Like, I know you've brought up before in the past the idea that they flirted with a Jurassic Park,
Yes.
Fast and Furious crossover. Get Jason. I'll take a Jason. No, maybe not Jason. You need somebody who drives.
I was going to say,
Does Jason drive?
I don't think you'd need, for Jason's good opposite.
Yes.
I don't know if Dom is good enough.
No. But he's also a stoic machine of a man who just keeps going.
Yeah.
And even if you forget the balance, I just want to see that movie.
Yeah, that's
I want to
fun.
see the team.
Yes.
Like, they have chains around Jason and they are doing donuts around him. And they're like, I can't shake him off, Dom. I can't shake him off. Let him know. And it's just all that. Give me all of that.
No,
Nitrous.
that's fun. That's
Yeah.
good stuff.
Hit the boost. Oh.
Yep. I in my mind it was like
got too
Hancock,
excited.
where it's somebody who is like they've been around forever and they're sick of it. They're you know, and so they have to learn to believe in themselves as Jason is doing their killing, and that leads to the Face Off.
So it would
Ooh,
be.
it could be Face Off, too.
Okay. I'm in again.
Michael Myers
I
versus
was
Jason.
off and now I'm back.
Yep.
Oh, speaking
They swap
of,
masks.
that brought me to, here's a fairly decent person that the squad would have to go after, the Furious Squad. Ghost Rider.
Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
That's fun.
No, it's not good. It's bad. But it's good for what we're
great.
talking
Yes.
about.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Cool.
That
Well,
is fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the first 4 Child's Play films.
Oh, I forgot we were doing Child's Play for a minute, and I was excited about all these little goofs that we were playing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe something that doesn't work for me with Child's Play, that I never just was drawn to
Is
it.
that the wig is irritating your eyes somehow?
No, you always irritate my eyes. I'm sorry. If the comedy math was
No,
right
it's fine.
there. No, it doesn't have any atmosphere. Zero atmosphere in terms of like Halloween time. I want to watch scary movies. I want to watch spooky things. There's no atmosphere in Child's Play that you can get that out of. You know what I mean? Halloween, obviously. Halloween. I think Nightmare works because it's school kids. It's not summertime. It's
Right.
not winter. There's never been a wintertime Nightmare.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if I agree that Halloween has one and Friday the 13th has an aesthetic too that's built in,
Friday the 13th,
which is built
definitely,
into
Yeah,
built
of
into
course.
other movies like Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would say that Child's Play has less of an atmosphere than like Nightmare on Elm Street, though. I think it's pretty par for the course.
I'll say this.
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street stays in the same, like you have the same Freddy house, and Child's Play changes locations.
Yeah.
I think Nightmare changes the locations a lot too, though, because don't they go to like the place where no one can sleep and like.
Well, I guess maybe part of it too is like Freddy, the identity of Freddy. Like that's clearly. I mean, people have dressed like Freddy forever in Halloween scenarios. You like when Halloween comes up. Freddy is a part of Halloween. Like if we were writing a scene for a Halloween party, how soon do we get to somebody's dressed like Freddy Krueger? You know what I mean? No,
Sexy
Child's
Freddy
Play is
Krueger.
hard because he's little.
I know.
You know
Yeah,
what I
just
mean? Like
think-
people
Yeah.
are going to dress like him as
Yeah,
much.
think of how weird it would look if somebody dressed like Chucky.
Yeah, but there's not a shred of like Halloweeniness in Child's Play. And I'm not saying that's the sole thing that I don't connect with it for, but it doesn't. I don't think, ooh, Halloween, watch some Child's Play,
Honestly,
see what happens with you, girl. You know what I mean?
it's funny
Come
because
on over,
like
Child's Play, and chill.
we're all our own beings, so I respect that. But watching the Child's Play
Now.
series, and especially and Chucky season 1 and all that stuff,
Yeah.
right now has put me in the Halloween mood like crazy.
Okay,
It's
all right.
been
Maybe
great.
I'm wrong about it.
No, I think that we each have our own.
Yeah, it's all personal.
It's all personal.
Like
That's what I
Evil
think.
Dead, I would think that gives me enough. It's not overwhelming, but there's enough Halloween vibe to it that I can fucks with it.
I think that, to be completely honest,
Yeah.
the aesthetic of a lot of 80s horror movies puts me there.
Yeah, no, that's
Because
true.
there's a way that they filmed them.
Yeah.
There's a pacing thing. There's the grain of the film, the way they look, the way people
Sure.
act,
But
the
there's
styles
also
of stuff.
the pin downable nature of like atmosphere or vibe or something that just does the thing. To Gen Z, it's giving Halloween,
Right.
right?
Sure,
It's serving Halloween.
That's true.
I always point to the movie The Guest. It's a fairly independent film.
Right. It's a biopic on Christopher Guest.
Yeah, and so sad. No, it's a great movie. It's more of a thriller kind of thing, And Dan Stevens is killer in it. He's fantastic. But the movie it's not a horror movie. You know, I guess the idea of this guy is scary. You know, by the end of the movie, there's some like, killer's chasing us kind of vibes. But it takes place at Halloween.
Yeah.
Even though it's shot in the desert.
Right.
There's still Halloween happening. And the filmmakers talked about it. Like, we originally wanted to shoot. Like, we wanted it to be Halloween, and we wanted it like Halloween. Like the movie, you know, like have it be, you know, this suburban area, but we could only shoot it here. We could only afford to do it in this like desert. So we still made it happen. And I'm like, yeah, every Halloween now, I'm like, I want to watch The Guest.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to label that kind of vibe.
It really is. Yeah, I agree with you.
Nice. All right, well, folks, that's 4 down, 4 to go. If you have questions,
told me we were only doing those 4.
Comments, concerns, or otherwise, send us an email, funbearablepod
a lot of stuff.
at gmail.com, or find us on socials at funbearablepod. I can't believe I still have to wear this stupid costume.
You know where bottom is.
Mm-hmm. Can't get worse than this. For Ray Harrington and Chuck Staten, I'm Brad Rohr saying thank you so much, and we're sorry for being Funbearable.
I'll look up the stitches on other movies to see how they look.
For what?